shack at. The bottles getting nippy up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, January 11th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We have a massive NHL card, 13 games on the slate. I've moved on 5 of them. Then we have a huge NCAA basketball card. We're going to have 3 different cappers, Daby Cab, Dave Rogers, and Mikey M come one at a time and give us their best bets on today's card. And then we have Darryl Rice, now 19-14 on the season in NBA, hitting at 57.6%. You know, he's going for that 60% plateau, so we could hopefully get him there. After today, he went 2-0 on last Thursday's show. We weren't very good yesterday. I went 1-1 in NHL, cashed Avalanche -1, lost the over 6.5 in Vegas. Avalanche. Disappointing. Went 2-2 in NBA. I lost the 76ers in overtime. I mean, as soon as Maxey went down, it was just over, or he got fouled out. And I was starting to do the math on how many overtimes I've lost, and then I cashed the Bulls overtime, and I took a deep breath and didn't get so angry. I was bad in college basketball. Now 32-19, lost NC State and Arkansas. Arkansas tried to put some sort of a run. NC State was a bad look, and that was disappointing. So I need a day and want a day very badly and expect to get one here working with you and these great cappers in the chat. Today, there is bigger than sports. Our friend whom we love so dearly, Star the Taint, play today, such a big part of our shows over the years. Matty Ice, he is at the Toledo Hospital today. His mom is in the hospital, and she has cancer on her liver, and she's in surgery to get it removed right now. So Matty Ice is there with her, and I think the best thing we can do is start out the show by taking a second and sending all of the positive healing energy, all the love, however you do it. Everybody does it differently. Some people pray, some people just close their eyes and send something, however you want to do it. But if we could all just take a second right now and just send all of the positive, the healing, all of our best energy right now, and send it to Toledo, and send it to Matty Ice's mom. And I just know that if we can, I know that Matty is doing that right now, and if we can just send all of the best energy, that we maybe can help in a tiny little way, just so that she knows and that Matty Ice's family knows that we love them dearly. We're thinking about them, and we know a happy ending is right around the corner. So let's start the show with that. Just all of the positive things that we can. So let's just take a second and send it over to our guy, Matty Ice, and to Matty Ice's mom. Shout out to all the cappers here in the chat. We have Truth Teller in the house. Truth Teller running hot. Viper NB with Vipes action. Viper is on Beal over 18.5 points, SGA over 31.5 points, Chet over 17.5, Grant over 18.5, Tampa Bay Lightning -1, and New York Rangers -102. New York Rangers on the -102 line. I'm going to copy and paste that from our guy Vipe getting us rolling here on a Thursday. Now we have a giant NHL card, so we got to work quickly through this NHL card, but we got to win. So, speed is not nearly as important as succeeding. Kent Davies in the house. There's Kyle Hintley, and that's a good sign. Kyle Hintley rolling with Justin McKelvey, UNC Greenboro, +4. Let's copy and paste that here before our college basketball breakdowns. Here we go. So that's locked and low. There's the nuke worker in the house, and there's Matty Ice. What a guy he is. Matty Ice in the house watching from that Toledo Hospital. We love you so much, Matty Ice. Matty Ice in the house. Michigan State +4 for that one, dude. A big run on Michigan State here. Let's make sure that we have all this information copied and pasted and ready for us to rock and roll with. There's Nordy in the house. Jay Peasy ready to get to work. Jay Smooth. Andrew G, the chosen one. And Joe T giving us the best bets from his model. So Michigan, Maryland over. Number one bets, Texas State, Arkansas State over. And easy cashers last night for Joe T. If you're not following our guy Joe T, it is a mistake. Our guy Joe T just handing out cash. And there's our guy Kyle Hintlian blessing our action. Oh, and his daughter says, hi, all. We love you, Kyle. We love you, man. Please send our love to you and your daughter. What a sweet friendship and relationship you two have. You guys inspire other fathers and daughters. Love to both of you. And good vibes here on the show early. And we need to turn that into cash, stacks of cash. Wine Time Sports in the house, shouting out Jose backstage. Yes, Jose back in business with us. Slatsy says, as Jimmy likes to say, juicy card tonight. Yes, there's a couple other spots that I almost moved on, but I decided to talk it out with you guys. And Slatsy, it's so hard for me not to bet the Sharks. So hard. Why would I try? We've seen what that's done for me. Backing the Pistons on losing streaks, trying to catch the falling knife. But man, and then I was almost first period Sharks. I just feel like the Sharks, after losing that home and home to the Leafs 11-2 combined in those two games, should be ready to go against this Habs team that got outshot 39-19 last night in Philly and then traveled back. I almost wish they had won that game, but I couldn't do it before I talked it out with you guys. There's Rocco Rogers in the house. We got Coin ready to get to work. Fly White Mike Series business ready to do work and get that cash. Swiggy Bets in the house. Ian Shaber, Philly Eagle Flyer, Brian Watson, Scar Manatti, Julian Cesario. What a great group. Thank you guys for joining us. Perky, Darren Thompson. Great to see all you guys. Goggles ready to go. A lot of work to do, and let's get that cash here. Nasty Nate, Dan Kelly says, first quarters at neutral NBA site games like to go under. So we have that game at 2 o'clock, the Paris game. A very, very interesting one here. Let me copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Dan, right before the 5-game NBA slate. All right, well, let's get to work. Kyle Hintlian loving Tampa tonight, putting a big bet on Tampa, and Kent also bet the Sharks. I wonder if I can do that. All right, let's get to work here. And Nordy says minus 40 to 50 here all week, and that is Celsius. That is horrifying. Is what that is. That's horrifying in Edmonton. Calgary dealing with it too. I don't know if there's going to be a Chinook to come in and save them, but very, very cold weather in Alberta. We're thinking about you, Nordy. It's balmy here, -1 in Toronto. I bet you miss us now, Nordy, my man. But it was a good move for you guys to get to Edmonton, get to a spot where you can buy a home and build a better life. I respect the move. All right, it is time to get to work. It is time to get to work. Up 0.06 units yesterday in NHL. It's not enough. I watched that whole game. The only good thing I did was didn't bet live. Interesting stuff last night. Patera was moved toward. Patera was brought in. Part of our move on the over was that Aiden Hill we thought was going to be playing his first game since December 17th, and he hadn't played in a long time before that. And then Patera came in. It was interesting. The team total over 3.5 with Patera, who had a goals against average just a taint hair under 4, was plus money, was even money or plus money over 3.5. So Nut Flush Allen knows that's a fishy line, stays away from it, doesn't bet it. He had planned on being on the Avalanche team total over. What did he do? He bet the Utah Jazz team total over. He doubled down on that. He won 15.5 against the defending NBA champions. That was higher than anybody would expect it to be. So he moved on that. He also moved on the Stars team total over. These fishy lines we need to assess out. We need to figure out when they come and take advantage of them. And that's excellent work from Nut Flush Allen yesterday. All right, let's get to work. Let's get to work. And Dan Kelly says that cold weather is moving this way. It is, sadly. It is. Ian Shaver says he's freezing his balls off in Florida, 60 Fahrenheit. Brian Watson says, why Sharks? I can't wait to talk about that game. We will break it down here. Wine Time says 55 degrees in Costa Mesa this morning. Well, It's going to be nice and hot when we get to San Antonio. And that's all that matters. All right, let's bring on your next guest. He joins us from Belleville, Ontario. He will be in San Antonio, rolling with us at Pub-A-Palooza 3. Also, just one other note. We have, or two more notes before we get started. One, don't forget about our confidence pool. Confidence pool will be Friday at midnight. It's the last time you can enter. We're going to start talking about all the people who are in, and we're going to be breaking all of that down here. But the NFL playoff confidence pool, your first 6 picks have to be in Friday at midnight. You can't make more than those picks. Just these first 6. You have 13 slots, 13 being your most confident pick, 13 points, and then the 1 slot being your least confidence pick at 1. It's not against the spread. It's just money line. Please enter so that we can, do more of these, or decide to do a different type of playoff pool, because there's so many different variations of playoff pools for us. So please enter and be a part of that. Also, our final Cappers contest show is today, and it is public. It is for all, not a members only show, a public show. We are going to toast the winners, Guillermo Zertucci and Sharpie, both going 5-0 in the final week. Talk about handling pressure. 5-0 in the final week, and they tie for first in our Cappers contest with a better record than Peter Loshak delivered last year. So we're going to keep track for trophy purposes of whoever wins each year and what their record is, see who has the best ever season. But excellent work to Sharpie and to Guillermo Zertucci. Congratulations on you guys for winning our final Cappers contest show today at 3 p.m. Yes, $50 entry, and all of that money goes into the prize pool. There were some mistakes by myself putting that video together, not quite explaining it perfectly, but I will do better. And this is our first go at this, so I will improve.
Don't let Dan bully you, Jimmy. Don't let Dan bully you.
Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Please welcome from Belleville, Ontario, the land of limps and neck tats, Mr. Gogster to the show. Gogster, how are you, my friend?
Doing good today, Jimmy. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. And look, Kelly McInnes says it's minus 41 Celsius with the wind chill, but it will be minus 5 soon. A Chinook is on the way. That's way.
Wild.
Gogster, we have a huge, enormously huge card for us to attack here. And I have made 5 moves pre-flop. How many bets have you made pre-flop?
We got 7 pre-flop today, Jim.
Let's get to work, my friend. I'm excited to hear what you have. Have you tweeted them out? I have not looked. I was pretty caught
I just tweeted them out there, guys. Gogster99. You can check them out. Yeah.
All right. DG says, when Dan says something, Jimmy says there were mistakes. When I say something, Jimmy gets on my case and loses his mind. DG, I lost my mind yesterday on Dan. Don't worry, buddy.
Family, baby.
Don't worry. I did it. I treated Dan exactly how I would have treated you, my good friends.
Does it to me too, brother. Don't worry.
I treat all my good friends the same. Treat them all the same. DG, take a look. We can use an edit from yesterday's show, and you'll see. I treat them all the same. All right, let's get to work, Mr. Gogster. 7 p.m. Eastern, the Ottawa Senators 14-22-0, 4-12-0 on the road at the Buffalo Sabres 17-20-4, 8-10-1 at home. KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. Jonas Korpisalo and UP Lokinen. I don't know if that is facts, that they will be the 2 goaltenders in net here. Korpisalo 7-14-0, 3.67 goals against average, 887 save percentage. He's been terrible. Lokinen 8-8-2, 3.01 goals against average, 899 save percentage, 1 shutout. It's one thing to make a statement of a hockey team, and then you can be right. But if you're not betting it every day, who cares what you had to say? But I did nail it last week, Gogster. When you moved on the Ottawa Senators, I said maybe they are incapable of winning hockey games on the road. Maybe this roster can't be saved by Jacques Martin and Daniel Alfredsson, and maybe they will just continue to lose on the road. And maybe it's just that simple, that we fade them on the road and back them at home. You backed them in Seattle thinking there would be a bounce back after they allowed 5 goals in the first period against Vancouver. There was no bounce back, and there hasn't been a bounce back. And maybe this is the wrong time to kind of jump on the fade the Senators on the road train. But I like what I've been seeing from the Buffalo Sabres, and I think there's a real problem in Ottawa. And I fear for Martin and Alfie at this point. Ottawa power play at 16.9%, penalty killing 71.4%. Buffalo power play at 13.7%, penalty killing at 77.8%. Senators have gone 0-4 on this 5-game road trip. They come in off a 6-3 loss at Calgary on Tuesday. I just don't, when I think about this hockey team and how they're feeling, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. And I certainly don't see it here on this road trip. I don't see it happening until they come back home. Is this really where you want to go? You're losing and losing and losing, and you want to go to Buffalo in the dead of winter from Calgary? I mean, I just don't see how they can turn it around here. Buffalo had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a 5-2 loss at home versus the Kraken. Look, I'm on the Kraken again here. So let's get, not here, but today. Let's get into the line history here for this one, Gogster. I moved on the Buffalo Sabres yesterday. I moved on them on the -1 line, and I got, what did I get here? I got plus 123 on the -1 line. Right now, the line has been moving to, maybe it hasn't. It's -130 other books. Here, it's just -120. The line has not been moving towards them. Interesting. So this line has been going back towards Ottawa. I guess that concerns me. I don't mind simplifying things too much in NHL. I find that works for me, simplifying things. I don't need to get too caught up in this. This total's gone from 6.5 to 7. We got BJ here with his best bet. Respect. I'm going to copy and paste it. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. Philly Eagle Flyer is on first period. Both teams to score. Full game over. Sends plus 1.5 and the over 5.5. Yeah. So here we go. Gogster, I'm on the Sabres -1 at plus 123. Take it away, my man.
I was kind of looking towards the goals. Goals, I think I've already tweeted this there, Jim. I am on Ottawa here. You're making the case. It's very tough for me to take Ottawa convincingly here, but it's just, I guess, the fact Buffalo, I don't know if I've really liked what I've saw from what I've seen there, Jim. Since December 20th, I'm just looking up some stats, guys, in the last 3 weeks, kind of how they've been feeling it out. Both these teams not scoring on the power play, 12%, 11%, and then the penalty kills, 65% and 66%. So something's got to budge here in this game. And I do think it's going out on a limb here, Jim. One thing, though, to note, just something to note here, Ottawa's farm team here in Belleville, they've won 7 in a row. They're playing really good, some of the best hockey yet. So they might have some guys coming up sooner than later if they're going to maybe be bench players, because guys like Stützle, they're just not responding really to this new core, this new coaching staff. So with that being said, guys, I am on Ottawa. They played so bad. And I don't think Sabres, they played Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Seattle. All of those teams are playing like they're humming right now, even Calgary. Buffalo, they don't really scare me. Skinner's day-to-day, Olofsson's day-to-day as well, and Okposo. So there's some guys out of the lineup. Olofsson and Skinner there. They could be going tonight, Jim, but I saw them day-to-day. Zub, Chartier, and then they also got Joseph back last game. He should start to push some offense for this Ottawa team. So I am going to take Ottawa. Strong case. You make a good case, though, for Buffalo here, Jim, but I am going to take the plus 112. I had plus 116 overnight, so I'm getting plus money at least. I'll go with Ottawa here.
Gogster is on the Sens. We'll get a good idea of their heart. I'm ready to back them as soon as they get back home. But I tried to think of this group and the way things are going. And if we put a line through that Senators loss at home versus Kraken, those were 2 nice wins, impressive wins. Tage is rolling right now. So there we go.
The goals feel strong too here, Jim. Just with the goaltending here, Luke Kokkonen, I feel like the goals could be live here. Ottawa hasn't been able to stop much. So total there. Someone in the chat was bringing up the total. I would agree there too, brother.
The Sabres could go on a win streak and have a little bit of life in the second half. The Senators season is over already. Fired manager, fired coach. I just, it's an interesting spot, Gogster, but we are heads up here. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern. San Jose Sharks 9-29-3, 3-17-1 on the road at the Montreal Canadiens, 17-17 and 6-8-10-2 at home at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. Mackenzie Blackwood, Sam Montembeault, I have listed. Mac Blackwood's been pretty good. He's been pretty good this year in front of a porous defense that's being hit by even more injuries. And Montembeault, is being okay. 2.93 goals against average, 906 save percentage. Sharks power play 19.4%, penalty killing 71%. Montreal power play at 17.8%, penalty killing at 72.4% on the year. And it actually is a little better. Benning done for the year, still waiting for Logan Couture. We thought he could be back a month ago. Nico Sturm out. That hurts badly. And Jacob McDonald, it's possible that McDonald comes back tonight, but he's out at this point. Kent Davies says Sharks at plus 145 at Circa. I couldn't help it. I want them so badly. But I just trying to, it's just the Pistons and Detroit Mercy that's in my head here. And why, Sharks are on a 12-game losing streak. But this line is really fishy. The Sharks have lost 12 straight. They've won 3 games out of 21 in regulation on the road. And here they are, a modest dog, not a big dog. It's just it. I almost bet the first period. I was like, there's enough on this card for me not to have to go there. I don't know what to do. This total is at a 6. It opened up at 6 at minus 118 to the over. We've had to move towards the under. It's now minus 111 to that. And then, we talk about these fishy lines and this one, what would you... Now, I know Montreal played last night, and they didn't play very well. They got out to the 2-0 lead. They let the Flyers come back and win in the shootout. They got outshot 39-19. But the idea that they would be sitting here minus 162, it surprises me. This opened up at plus 139, sitting at plus 145 for the Sharks. Take it away, Gogster. Kong's clips on Montreal first period minus a half goal. See, that was where I was like, I came so close to the Sharks first period. I like the idea of the Sharks losing 7-1 at Toronto on Tuesday and then going to Montreal. We talk about motivation. If the Sharks lost 7-1 on Tuesday and went down to Buffalo, I'd be like,
yeah,
it's going to be a 3/4 full. Are the Sharks going to bounce back? But no, they go into the Bell Center with all of the banners and the rafters against the Habs. It's going to be sold out. I want the Sharks first period. I want the Sharks in some way. I don't know if I can pull the trigger. Take it away.
Yeah, it is good points there on Montreal. They have a lot of injuries, guys, but they're still able to put together somewhat of a decent record here. Montembeault is going to be going tonight, though. 3-1-1 last 5 games. Jim, 892, 3-3-1 goals against. Blackwood's been okay, but he's 0-10 on the road, guys, I have here. So he hasn't had a road win either. They're coming back home. Well, not going home, but they're going to Montreal, where, like you say, a lot of these players, they really get up for this. And Couture could be in. I'm trying to see here. I'm not seeing any confirmation yet, though. Beat writers just bringing up here that LeBlanc, Kevin LeBlanc, and Marc-Edouard Vlasic are in. Ty Eberson and Scott Sabrin, which is good not having Sabrin. He's going to be out. I am going to take San Jose here in the first period. They've been a scrappy first period team really all year. I know Loshak's been big on this team first period. And Montreal they don't scare me too much here. They're on a back-to-back, which they did have one back on December 10th, lost to Nashville 2-1. 16% power play in the last 3 weeks. San Jose's not doing much at 11%, and both these penalty kills are below 70. So kind of like the Ottawa game in Buffalo, something's got to give here. I would kind of lean to the over, to be honest, in this game again, just with those poor numbers. But I do think San Jose, I know I'm not making a strong case here, guys, but it's the back-to-back at Philadelphia too. Full game, I wouldn't mind San Jose too, to be honest. The first period, I'm kind of getting a little nervous just because they could come out kind of with that momentum. Not so much momentum, but, they just played last night, get into the groove early, but then kind of third period is where they might slow down a bit. Montreal here. I'm still going to take San Jose first period. At worst, we get a push if it's 0-0-1-1. But yeah, at plus money, I like the plus money. I got plus 136, I believe it was here, guys. 128. Sorry, yeah, Jim, 128. So I'm gonna rock and roll with that. Dvorak's out too. Newhook, Pearson's day to day. They got a lot of injuries too. This Montreal team defensively, they're fine. Tough game here, but I think with the back to back, I'm gonna fade. I'm fading actually a couple teams on a back to back here, and I'm gonna fade Montreal here first period.
Slatsy knows this Montreal team inside out. He's on the under 6.5. That does sound.
Any reasoning there, Slatsy? Love to hear maybe a little reason.
Yeah, he touched on it. He said, Sammy Montembeault in net for the Habs off of a back-to-back. It's the favorite that you want to not be scoring here. So Slatsy on the under 6.5. And then Nufflush saying if you want to move on the Sharks, the way to do it is to take the team total over. I'm with you, though. I think that you've moved me towards the Sharks first period. I think I'm going to run with you here on this one. All right. Gogster's moved, and I think it's enough for me to roll with them. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern. Edmonton Oilers 21-15-1, 10-9-0 on the road. Detroit Red Wings 20-16-4, 10-7-3 at home at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Stuart Skinner starting to play better. The Oilers have allowed just 8 goals in their last 6 games. Skinner 2.69 goals against average, 901 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Alex Lyon 8-4-0, 2.51 goals against average, 920 save percentage, 1 shutout. Edmonton power play 25.8% on the year, still nowhere near what it was last year. It's not really improving at the rate that you would think that would come along with an 8-game winning streak. 80.8% penalty killing. That's what's changed. This penalty killing was such a debacle last year. It's really stepped up. Detroit, 21.9% power play, 81.6% penalty killing. Sky Dragon says, I get the San Jose look, but I just wish it was higher. I think that in the end, DG, that's going to probably make me move on them because it's fishy that it's not higher.
And that sorry, Joe, I was just going to say, it makes me feel maybe Couture, I don't know if he's traveled with the team here, but it makes me feel like he might be in for this game. Played at the Ottawa 67s too, played there for a long time. I used to watch him. So this is kind of like a homecoming too in a sense, not far away from Montreal, but that line kind of maybe indicates that he might be going for his first start of the year here. So that would be having your captain back too for San Jose.
Stimmy OG, big on the Flames and the Penguins. Going to copy and paste that because I came close to betting the Coyotes, but this market move towards the Flames was just a little too much for me to not be aware of. But I'm not going to back the Flames. So let's get back to this spot. The Oilers are a bet on a hockey team, and Detroit might be as well. They just came back from sweeping California. Now the Kings are in the midst of a 6-game losing streak. Maybe that win wasn't as impressive as we thought. Maybe the wins over the Ducks and the Sharks were just, wins against bad hockey teams. But I am on the Oilers -1, and I got -113 on it. A pretty good number. I think the Oil just keep rolling. I like fading teams off of a much better than expected road trip. This opened up at -167. It's now -179. It's not a big move towards the Oilers. This isn't a bet that I'm sitting here in love with. The Red Wings have hurt me lately. I faded them against the Ducks. That was the last time I went against them. I faded them against the Kings. So I've lost my last 2 bets against them. So, it's not the most comforting thing. But I'm on the Oilers, -1, -113. Take it away for us here, Gogster. Edmonton at Detroit.
I think that's the highest line you're going to see. It's pretty high there. I think, they've won all those games in a row. But just looking at what Detroit's done, they've been playing pretty good hockey. Yeah, they beat San Jose, Anaheim, beat LA 4-3. But also looking at what they've done, as I've been bringing up, guys, last 3 weeks, 20% power play for both teams, 100% penalty kill for Detroit. So they haven't allowed a power play goal in the last 3 weeks here. And then Edmonton's 91%. So both these teams are playing really well. I would think this line should be maybe like a 150 for Edmonton here. It's a little bit high. I know they're healthy. Both teams are really healthy. Well, Husso's out, but Lyon's been he's been really good for this team. Actually, better numbers than I'm seeing Picard could be going to for the Oilers. I had Picard written down here, Jim. So don't know too much into that. I haven't looked too much into that, but that's just what was expected. So if Picard's going to go too, I know he's more of a AHL goalie there for Bakersfield. So I would kind of lean to Detroit at this number. I'm not going to play this one, but kind of lean to the under as well. It didn't make my card, but just based on these numbers and how well these teams are playing, I could see maybe a tighter game, maybe expected. I would kind of want Skinner to go. He's been really hot in the last few games. Picard's been okay. He's actually been decent. 3-1 last 5 games I have here. But it's going to be a no play at this number. I wouldn't be on Edmonton, but I'll root you on, brother.
Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, New Jersey Devils 21-15-2, 12-6-0 on the road. Tampa Bay Lightning 20-17-5, 12-5-3 at home. We're at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. I have Vitek Vanacek and Andrei Vasilevsky. I don't know if that's will come to fruition. Vanacek 14-7-1, 3.29 goals against average, 884 save percentage. Vasilevsky 10-9-0, 2.95 goals against average, 896 save percentage. Both teams have excellent power plays, 28.6%. for both. And strong penalty killing. Devils at 77.1%, not quite as strong as Tampa's at 80.5%. In this day and age, anything over 80 to me is strong. The Devils coming off having their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a 6-4 loss at home versus Vancouver. Lightning coming off their second win in 3 games, 3-2 in overtime at home versus the Kings on Tuesday night. A lot of love for Tampa here in the chat. I think both of these teams are ripe for being faded. I do. They're dangerous teams to fade because they're both electric offensively, but I don't think either are very good right now. If these two teams, with the roster set up the way it is right now, we're in a playoff series against, I'd be fading them no matter what. Now, we know the Devils have put Dougie Hamilton on LTIR, and they're going to have $9 extra million, and this won't be the team that we see come playoff time, but it's going to be the Lightning team that we see. And imagine if Kucherov wasn't playing as the best player in the league. Now, McKinnon just tied him last night, 23-game home scoring streak for McKinnon since the beginning of the year. I mean, Gretzky is has the record at 40. So it's like, I can't remember the list anymore. It's Bobby Orr, I think, is 2 ahead of him. I think it goes Bobby Orr at 25, and so he's tied Sakic now. But it's a great list of great players. But back to this spot here, I'm off of it. I really think this is a coin flippy proposition with these two hockey teams. The Lightning have gone from -141 to -150, a 9-cent move towards them. That move didn't exist until this morning. The move had gone towards the Devils until 8 this morning. I can understand the thought process that you guys have backing the Lightning at home. I didn't think they were very good in that Kings victory, but they did enough, down 2-0 with 7 minutes to play, and they come back and win it. I wonder if the over 6.5 is at play with these dangerous power plays.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I wonder if that, do we trust Vasi and Vanacek? We don't. Spreadsheet plays of the day are in the Leafs, Knicks, and Florida International. Great stuff here from Ron Crawford. Unfortunately, I am going up against the NHL spreadsheet play of the day. But I'm going to copy and paste that here. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Ron. You're the man. Yeah. So take it away. Do we bet the over in this one?
I was kind of thinking that's kind of where I was getting at here. But you're talking about the power plays. Yeah, 36-31 home road splits. And then recently, like bringing up these recent stats here. Sorry, let me just bring up. I just had New Jersey there. They are 17% and then 80% power play. Tampa Bay, 21%, 80% power play. So I just think the injuries are, Jack Hughes is out, guys, for the Devils. Siegenthaler, that's a tough name to say. He's out. Palat's out. Myers day-to-day. Jimmy said it. Hamilton's going to be out on long-term. And then Nosek, he's also out. So especially Jack Hughes, that's the big name, as you guys all know. It's tough to back the Devils here. But then looking at the Lightning, everyone was on the Kings, I remember last show there, against the Lightning, and I was kind of hesitant on that one. And then this game here, I don't know if the Lightning are going to – it's going to be a tough game because Vanacek, he hasn't been that strong, guys. The save percentage, you're getting 880 save percentage. And then looking at Vanacek, last 5 games, Jim, he's been 857. So I don't know if Vanacek or if both these goalies really have their best, kind of like what you're saying off the top. And then Jeannot, Fleury, and Sergachev are going to be out for Tampa Bay. So you're missing some key guys too still, especially on the back end for Tampa Bay. So I would lean to the over, but it's going to be a no play. At 150, I wouldn't be taking Tampa Bay. I'm going to root you guys on. I think the line's a little bit high there, but it's going to be a no play. Yeah, I lean to the over, though.
Yeah, I'm going to stay off the over as well. One thing that you've seen with the injuries to Tampa's defense is Hedman seems the only one capable of the outlet pass right now. So their offense is being stymied. Those of you in the chat that are bullish on the Lightning, I'll cheer for you guys as well. Kyle Hillian says Tampa Bay rolls. When Kyle says that, it usually happens.
You're right. You're right, Jim Hedman, because then they got Darren Radish, you got Calvin DeHaan, Eric Cernak. Those other 3 guys I just listed, they're not going to move the puck too much. And then they got Perbix, who they've tried to put in the first line with Hedman, but now he's back on the third line with a guy they've called up from Syracuse, looks like Martesen Lilberg, a Swedish defenseman. So you're right with the sense they don't have a lot of outlet passes here. So I'm going to hold off that total. Good point there.
Yeah, I'm going to hold off it as well. All right, let's roll on. 7 p.m. Eastern, LA Kings 20-10-7, 13-3-2 on the road. Florida Panthers 26-12-2, 12-5-0 at home. Emirates Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida. I think that it's a mistake for me to – now, the Kings cost me a lot of money over the last week and a half or two.
Let's go, Brad.
They've made me a lot of money this year, but These streaks happen. I think it's a mistake for me to get off of them here. But I finally moved on the Panthers at 10-1 for the Cup and 5-1 for the East. And I think this is our Stanley Cup final. I think this is the preview of the Stanley Cup final. And I think the Kings are going to play their absolute best hockey game here.
I agree.
And I should bet them. But I don't know why I would get in the business of getting in the way of these streaks. I mean, who do I think I'm just that good that I could just catch these falling? I think it's a mistake to do it, but I really believe that the Kings are going to play excellent here. So if I do believe that they're going to play excellent, they know that they're going up against the Panthers team that's won 8 straight games that look dominant at St. Louis on Tuesday, Enterprise Arena, where the Blues have been very good. Then do we go to the under 6?
Yep, that's it. I think so, Jim. I think so. I think so. Yeah, like bringing up, they're going to play tough. They're not going to go in that crazy back and forth type of style hockey. And then I was bringing up on the show on Tuesday, Panthers have been a heavy under-trending team. They're completely healthy. They got Cousins out of the lineup, which is just fine. Talbot, he's been a solid road goalie all year. Bobrovsky's playing still really good hockey, 5-0, 920. I think the under is at least maybe first period here is kind of where I'm looking. I would agree there, yeah.
I mean, I wonder if we move on it.
92% penalty kill too from the Kings in the last few weeks, so they haven't been allowing much. And then on the other sense here, Florida's got a 92% as well, 31% power play. They've been more lethal on the power play, but both of these teams defensively have been stellar really in the last few games. And Kings are coming off all those losses. Maybe a Kings first period possible, coming up strong in the first year. Maybe because I believe Florida's coming off that long road trip too here. So they're coming home off a long road trip. Maybe get them early in the first period, could be live, but I think we get a tight hockey game. Yeah,
we do. I wish we were given an 8.5 or sorry, a 6.5. When I say 8.5, 6.5 and not just a 6. It wasn't a real debilitating road trip, and it's, it was a 4-gamer, for Florida, and they were incredible. They outscored their opponents 21-8. I mean, my fear is this: the score is 3-1. Let's say 2-1 going in the third period, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to catch this." Then the Kings make it 3-1. With 3 minutes in the third period, and you just know what's going to happen. The Panthers are just dynamic. There's going to be goalies pulled. I'm
going to make an addition here. I'm going to add LA Kings first period, Jim. I think that's where I like that. I think they're going to come out here. Looking at Florida, they have bounced around. They went from Arizona, Vegas, Colorado, St. Louis, then coming back down to Florida. I don't sound like a meteorologist here, anyway. I think this is where they're going to get them. I really do. They're coming off that game in Tampa Bay where they lost 3-2. They're going just upstream to Orlando or wherever they are. Going downstream to Sunrise there. So I think they can get them in the first period, and we're going to get plus money on this, I believe, too. So that's where I'm going to play here, guys. After the show, I'm going to bet this. But the best number, we should get at least, plus 110. I'm going to bring it up here just for you now, Jim. It's play at plus 110 at Caesars there. So I'm going to add that to the card here, guys. LA Kings, first period, plus 110. Love the plus money here. Yeah, they're completely healthy too, so there's no reason really to think this Kings team's not going to play well in the first. Talbot's been still 10-2-2 road record, 934 save percentage. So if there's a spot to get Florida, it's going to be the first period, in my opinion, and I'll bet it.
I think. Nice job, Andrew, getting 15-1. Nice job. I mean, I'm okay with the 10-1. I should have got 11-1. I meant to bet it like 5 days earlier, and I realized that I hadn't yet. But Jay Peasy, I completely get what he's saying. He says, Panthers are rolling. If the Kings win this game, I'd use that as a sign that Kings maybe bet on again, but he needs a sign. I think your first period look here is,
I like it.
Makes a ton of sense. And I want the under 6 too. I mean, God, okay, I'm gonna have to sit with that. I think it's a great bet.
Maybe even Florida, no goal in the first period, possibly, even if you want to get crazier, plus maybe 140. I don't mind that.
Well, let's roll on.
Yeah.
Roll on. 7 p.m. Eastern, Vancouver Canucks 27-11-3, 13-7-2 on the road at the Pittsburgh Penguins 20-15-4, 10-8-1 on home ice. PPG Paints Arena, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thatcher Demko 28-1, 2.54 goals against average, 916 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Tristan Yarry 11-12-2, 2.60 goals against average, 912 save percentage, 4 shutouts. I baited the Canucks in the first game of this road trip and cashed. Blues won 2-1.
Good call.
And then the Canucks have rolled. They beat the Devils, the Rangers, the Islanders. They beat the Islanders 5-2 in Long Island on Tuesday. I've stayed off of these spots, and I would love to fade them here. And, when Dennis says that he thinks that Pittsburgh's going to figure their shit out and make it all the way to Stanley Cup final, I like it. I like it. I don't think that's going to happen. But when I saw this line from a Pittsburgh Penguins team that's won 20 of 39 games in regulation this year, they're 500 hockey against this Canucks team that's 27-11-3, 1-3-0. I could not believe the Pens were minus 130. I legitimately thought I was going to bet the Penguins at a pick'em or get a plus 100. I did. I was so wrong. And maybe that's, maybe that's where the Penguins are at home again. Maybe this is a perfect line, but I was shocked, absolutely shocked that was the line. Penguins coming off their second win in 3 games, 4-1 at the Flyers on Monday. I cannot fade the Canucks without a risk reward. Now we talk about when lines are a little fishy, that Sharks lines, this Penguins line's a little fishy.
Jimmy, it happened on Tuesday when I took the Islanders. I told the guys if it loses, it loses, but it was like minus 115, and the Islanders even worse record than Pittsburgh. What happened? 5-2 loss. So the books just keep thinking, Vancouver can't keep doing this on the road, but they have been.
They have been. So
I was with DeSmith too. So you got a healthy Picard. Well, not healthy, but healthy or just fresh Demko. He hasn't, he didn't play last game either.
Pittsburgh right now at minus 126. They opened up at minus 125, so the line's not moving at all. And then from a total side of things, we have Pittsburgh sitting at, this is a 6.5 total, and it's juiced to the over at minus 121. I know the Canucks play that type of hockey game, but do the Penguins? I mean, I would say that they don't. I would think that the under 6.5 is a very live. In fact, it could be a 7. Pickard is confirmed for the Oilers. Yeah. Take it away. I'm very interested to hear your full breakdown. So this is game 5 of a 7-game road trip for the Canucks. Take it away.
That's right. And I thought I just saw Ned might be confirmed here in goalie here for Pittsburgh.
If Ned is in, I'm running away. Sprinting away.
He's back, Jim. He's back from the AHL depths. He's I think he's actually been okay. His numbers have been decent. Actually, I'm going to read off his numbers here. 5-2 at home, 943 save percentage, 1.76 goals against. Fun little battle me and Jimmy have had with this guy over the years. I got nothing on this. Let me just, where was it here? Sorry, guys. The Pittsburgh game here, Pittsburgh, Vancouver. Yeah, like I said, Demko, he didn't play last game, so you got a fresh Demko here. DiGiuseppe, he's been out for a few games still. And on the other side for the Pens injuries, Ludwig, Nieto, and then Puljujärvi, who's been out for a while. I got nothing. I would kind of lean to the over, to be honest, Jim. I kind of would, especially if Ned is going to go, even though I listed off his numbers at home. This is going to be a no play here. I've already got bit once by Vancouver this week, so I'm going to stay off this one. And Pittsburgh's been a tough team to read. They did beat Boston. What was it? 6-5. I think it was last Thursday or not too long ago. So it's tough to tell when this Pittsburgh team is going to get up and when they're not. So I'm going to stay away from this game. This is a tough one for me.
If the Canucks played the Kings in this playoff series, you would see all of their flaws. Their record 27-11-3, I don't think is a fair indication of the hockey team they are, and I watch them almost every night. They have a lot of excitement, but when you have to play a team every second night, and Quentin Byfield and Kopitar are both 6'5", who can the Canucks possibly play against that line for 25 minutes a game? I mean, there's nobody. So they're going to get, they need size. They need to make some moves at the deadline to get bigger and stronger, or they're going to be bullied. But, they have a lot of Kuzmenko is going to get traded at deadline. They shouldn't have signed him to the 2-year, $10 million contract. I think it was 2-year, $10 million. He had so much value at that point. It's another example of the Canucks just not focusing on the future. They could have fixed holes when Kuzmenko had so much value and they weren't, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to roll on. Cheer for you guys who are on the Knuckleheads.
I was just going to say one thing quickly. I think Tocchet is a big reason why this team is playing better, but Kuzmenko is the one guy, at least I've noticed, who's not really responding, or kind of like Stützle for Ottawa. They're just not they're not responding to the coach, or it's just not working out. They're not meshing. So, interesting.
Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Kraken 17-14 and 9, 8-6-6 on the road at Washington Capitals, 19-13 and 6, 10-6-4 at home at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Joey Decord taking the ball and running with it. This is the first time we've seen the Kraken with good goaltending since their inception.
Joey Decord, baby.
We haven't seen it. Darcy Kemper, 10-9 and 2, 3.24 goals against average, 893 save percentage. I want nothing to do with him. I'm not entirely sure if he will be in between the pipes, but I expect him to. Seattle power play 20.9%, penalty killing 80.7%. They're not going to be able to dig out of this hole. It doesn't matter that they won 7 straight. The hole that they dug, I think, will be too big. Now we'll see. They can change that, dynamic, but I do not think they will. But they're playing excellent hockey, and they know they have to win and win and win and win because of the hole they dug themselves. The Capitals snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 4-3 win at home over Los Angeles on Sunday. This is back to our easiest angle this season. We're back to fading the Washington Capitals every chance we get. I got a huge number. When I fade the Capitals, I want to get paid. I'm not going to ever take a minus beside it. I want money. And so I took the -1 at plus 151. This total is at 5.5. It opened up at 6 and it lasted there for 3 minutes. So a real sharp, immediate action on the under in Seattle, Washington. And then from a money line standpoint, we have these Kraken sitting at -122. -122. They open up at -119. I think it's a fair line, but I did want the score. Wanted the score, went for it. Kraken -1 at plus 151 for me. Take it away, Gogster.
Yeah, fair line is right. I would agree. I'm glad it's not like a plus 110 or something to make us scratch our head and be like, why is it plus 110? But -115. I'm also one. I got -120, I believe it was, Jim. -120 there. Just looking at some injuries, the big reason that you brought up the injuries, guys. After the beat writer had their morning skate, they're reporting here that Ovi, he's a game time decision, didn't really skate much, so I don't think he's going to go. And then Wilson, he didn't skate either, so he's also a game time decision. Oshie is going to be back, though. Oshie looks like they said he's going to return from an 11-game absence. And then Sonny Milano, he's not going to play. And then another defenseman here, our first defenseman, Sandin, he's going to be out as well. So there's some key guys out. Even with Oshie back, I think this Seattle team, they're at this rate, they're 17-23, Jim, but they still can't make the playoffs. At this rate, they keep winning these games, especially a game like this against Washington. Joey Decord, Ottawa got rid of him. Now they need a goalie. What's new? Playing really good hockey. Not a team I want to fade right now. I've been backing this Seattle team, and I'm going to do it again, guys. -120. Let's cash that. Take it, Jim.
Let's go. I love it. It's going to be fun. All right, let's move on to the next ball on the board. And also, it's just Tom Wilson that you don't want out there. That's the guy you don't want out there. If Tom Wilson isn't out there, this is just going to be a glorious
season.
He's such an important hockey player. I mean, if I was the Canucks, Kuzmenko, I mean, Wilson's worth more than Kuzmenko. We know that, but I would set something up to try and get Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson is an absolute game changer. You need him in the Western Conference where the Kings are a big team. Yeah. Let's roll on. Next up, Anaheim Ducks 14, 25-1, 8-9-0 on the road. Carolina Hurricanes 22-13-5, 10-3-4 at home, PNC Arena, Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't care about like gossip when things come up. I don't care. And I don't know why, for some reason, the whole Cutter Gauthier thing of him not playing for, it's the first time I've actually been like, I wonder what it is. It's a very strange situation that he can't play in Philadelphia because of personal matters.
Has he got a hit on him in Philly or something? Like, what's going on?
I don't know, but I shouldn't care about it. I'm 44. Why do I care? But it's very strange. This could be a great trade for the Ducks. Because as much as Drysdale was that 6th overall pick and we have all this potential for him, I've not seen it. I've been waiting to see it. We keep talking about when we're going to see it, but it's going to help this Flyers team. Gibson going up against Peter Kochetkov. Ducks snapped their 5-game losing streak with a 5-3 win in Nashville on Tuesday. There's going to be lots of opportunities, I think, for us to back the Ducks, and I'm going to want to do it. And they've been much better on the road than they've been at home. I took a look at the Ducks first period. I took a look at them plus a half, and Carolina right now is playing really good hockey. They had their 5-game winning streak stamped in 2-1 shootout loss at home to the Blues on Saturday, but I just, they should not be this big of a favorite. This is just a crazy, crazy number. They're sitting at minus 343 right now. Opened up at minus 339. This was minus 382 at 10 this morning. So there's been a 39-cent move to the Ducks. How did it get up to minus 382? Who's betting the Hurricanes at this number? What is it, a parlay piece? Like, I don't know who would be doing this, but the 39-cent move back made sense to me. And then this total at 6.5 juice to the under. I just can't find any reason to have any involvement in this game, although I do have a lean to the Ducks early. Cheshire Cat saying Troy Terry's back. Troy Terry's back, yes, but now Zegras is out, and Zegras is on the trading block, and they needed Zegras to get back from his injury and play good hockey. That's not happening. And Minchikov is day-to-day. He's been very important to the back end here, a back end that just lost Drysdale. So the Cutter Gauthier for Drysdale trade was throwing in the white flag. I mean, they're not trying anymore this year. They just want to get as good as they possibly can for next year. Take it away, Gogster.
Exactly, and then that's why they're talking about getting rid of Zegras, probably for more young players, more draft picks. I'm not going to fade Carolina here, guys. This is short and simple. Jimmy brought up the injuries before their win. I had the figures. I had Nashville there Tuesday night, and they lost 5 in a row before that. They got their first win. Another issue, too, guys, is Gibson. He's coming off, I believe, an illness there, Jim. He had 1 start against Winnipeg, allowed 3. And then before that, he played on the 31st, allowed 7 against Edmonton. He's kind of been up and down. They've played Dostal a lot, so he hasn't had a lot of starts. I don't think this is a good spot for their goaltending, the whole situation right now. I'm taking Carolina, guys. It's going to be in regulation plus the team. What was it? Regulation. I believe the under 8.5 in Carolina regulation. Don't see this game getting high scoring. Kochetkov has been solid at home. Good. I see why the line's going up, probably because it is a parlay piece.
Come back though. 39 cents. Come back 39 cents in the last hour and a half.
Yeah. With you brought up Minty there, that Mintikov. He's actually had a lot of production too for this team, and then you just lost Drysdale too. You brought up this is going to be a fade team, bottom going for draft picks. I think you're 100% right. They might get the odd win here or there, but until they get back, Zegras is out, Carlson, even Max Jones. So fade hockey team despite their win on Tuesday.
So Gogster has moved on it. Gogster's on Carolina in regulation and the under 8.5. He knocks it down to minus 130. Let's move on to 7 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Maple Leafs at New York Islanders. Leafs 21-10 7-11 3-5 on the road. New York Islanders 18-12 10 5-6 at home at UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. Okay. So there's a few things here for me. First off, I made 3 bets that I was extremely confident in. Mm-hmm. Then this morning, I made my 2 favorite bets on the card. And I just needed to sit with it a little longer. I wanted to see what happened with the market. I was curious if I could get a better line. And I'm on the New York Islanders here. And there's so many reasons why. Not saying that this is going to work or anything like that. I'm not saying this is a lock or any of that nonsense, but I really like the spot. I told you that the Islanders were such a fade without Pulock and Pelech. Pelech is back. And what happens to this defense when you don't have Pulock and Pelech is that everybody else has to step up their defensive awareness. They have to step up for their best 2 defensive defensemen being out of the lineup. And I think it helps you as you move forward. I think it helped the Panthers to start the year without Montour and Ekblad. And I think it helps the Islanders here. So then we have the Leafs. So the Leafs have just beaten the worst team in the league in back-to-back games. They just beat them 7-1 at home. Nylander signs the massive extension, and they feel good about themselves. The Islanders fans, maybe not the team, the Islanders fans, they'll never forgive Johnny Tavares for not re-signing. When the Leafs come to town, it's it's like a bigger rivalry almost. I mean, I don't know if it's fair to say it's bigger rivalry than the Rangers. I mean, I probably shouldn't say that, but it's a huge rivalry because of Tavares. So first off, you have the Leafs coming off of these games against the worst team in the league. You have the Nylander contract. Then you have the Tavares issue, so the intensity. Then you have Martin Jones with a 1.98 goals against average and a 934 save percentage. I mean, have you ever seen numbers that don't make any sense and are absolutely impossible to continue? At what point is Martin Jones going to become Martin Jones again? And so there's so many different elements here. So many. You know, Pellet coming back. Literally, there's so many here. And so, look, the Leafs have allowed 3 goals over their last 4 games. Martin Jones standing on his head. Islanders coming off their second straight loss, 4th in 5 games, 5-2 at home versus Canucks on Tuesday. I legitimately think this is the perfect storm for these Islanders. The perfect storm for them here. And getting plus 115. I can't wait to watch this game. Now, do I want to go up against a spreadsheet play today in the Toronto Maple Leafs? No, I don't. I don't. So shout out to Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford on the Toronto Maple Leafs here. But this is my favorite game of the night. I can't wait to watch it. And I expect to cash with the New York Islanders. Shout out to our guy, Ron Crawford. Spreadsheet play today on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Take it away, Gogster. Your plan for Leafs Islanders.
As the jury, Jimmy, I am in your corner there. I do agree the Islanders have a good chance here. And another thing that's even a good case for the Islanders here, guys, is Knives. Matthew Knives got hurt in practice there yesterday, and he's been on the first line with Matthews and Marner. So going to be changing up the lines here. Looks like I would imagine Bertuzzi goes up, and then maybe throw Yarncrook on left wing there, or Nick Robertson. But the spot does feel pretty good here, and we're getting plus money too on the Islanders, Jimmy. So you've said it all pretty much there, brother. I'm not going to be on. It's not going to make the card. I want to take the Islanders though. I really do. Kind of got cold feet, I guess, just from that last loss against Vancouver. But the spot does feel right. You brought up the fact that they played San Jose. All the points. It does feel like it, kind of like my Kings spot against Florida in the first period. Your Islanders one feels just as strong. So I might tweet that one out too. I like your Islanders play, Jim. Good case here.
And then, Michael Johnson saying over, and Clint saying, would the move be to the over here? Look, the Leafs know how they've been winning. Now, it helps playing the weakest teams in the league, but they've allowed 3 goals over their last 4 games, and Martin Jones has a 934 save percentage and 1.98 goals against average. When is Martin Jones, when's he going to turn back into a pumpkin? Look, I don't know, and I don't feel the need to mess with that. But I do think that for a team that's allowed just 3 goals in their last 4 games, for this total to be sitting here at over 6.5, quite heavily juiced, is very telling. Very, very telling. So, if you want to move on the over, see, like I need to keep my action very clean. And I think that I mess with totals in a way where I think I need to slow down my volume on totals here. Why do I think I have an advantage on that sort of thing? I believe I have an advantage in sides in NHL. I really do. I played the sport all my life. I watch it so closely. All the different factors that are involved. I feel like I've got my finger on the pulse of. If you guys want to move on the total, but for me, I think the Islanders will take care of business here against the Leafs. So there we go.
Yeah, good points there, Jim.
I love it. Oh, Mikey's saying my numbers that don't make sense. Didn't the Bruins lose 0-4 lose 4 guys last game? You want to? I mean, I'm fading the Bruins here, but Mike, if you're going to say that I'm saying numbers that don't make sense, can you please just expand on it and explain yourself? I don't mind at all being challenged at all. That's part of the fun here. But you need to expand yourself now and not just say blanket statements like that. All right, let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern, New York Rangers 26-11-2, 13-5-2 on the road at St. Louis Blues, 2018-1, 12-7-0 at home, Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Shesterkin 69-0, 2.85 goals against average, 904 save percentage. Binnington, which we think is going to be in net, not that he is more. I mean, you want Hofer, I think 13-11-1, 3.05 goals against average, 905 save percentage. I want to back the Blues. We'll break that game down, Daryl, because it's the final game on the card. I want to back the Blues at home as much as possible. Okay. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, my bad. And that's another thing. I can't understand inflections. I'm reading things quickly, and I will jump to conclusions, and that's my bad, Mike. So here, I want to fade the St. Louis Blues at home. I want to back the St. Louis Blues at home as much as I possibly can, but I'm scared to fade the Rangers. They're coming off their second straight loss, 6-3 at home. I mean, I don't. Let's Dance says Blues at home is an automatic blind bet. It's not for me. I think I will bet the Blues at home 85% of the time. But I against the Rangers who've lost 2 straight, it's very scary. Now the Blues lost 5-1 to the Panthers, so it's a very similar spot here. Yes, Dennis, I'm multitasking here, and I'm, but I apologize when I do, right? DG, right? I apologize when I do. But take it away for us here, Gogster. This ends up being a stay off spot. Let me just touch on the line history here for this. This is sitting here at a 6. 6. It's juiced to the over, minus 117 to the over. I opened up at 6.5 and dropped to 6 really quickly. That's an important sign. And then from a money line standpoint here, we are at minus 161 on the New York Rangers. This opened up at minus 158. Take it away, Gogster.
So there's injuries there with the Rangers. I'm just pulling up their beat writer here really quickly here, seeing if they have any updates. But there's some question marks, guys, on the further forwards. Zibanejad, even Trouba, Pitlick, and then Kakko. They're all game time decisions day to day. Might play, might not. And then Hedo's been out for a while. So you're missing a bit of offense. Even Trouba, you're missing a couple key players there, Jim. And then when it comes to goaltending here, I expected Binner to go last game, and it was Hofer. And my first period under, it went to shit. And also for Florida, it wasn't Bobrovsky last game. It was their backup goalie anyways. And this spot here, we got Binnington going. I want him at home. He's 9-4, 910 save percentage, 287 goals against. And then Shesterkin, he's actually been having stronger numbers on the road too, 10-4, 917, 256 goals against. Falk's out, same thing, game time decision. But then looking at St. Louis here, Jim, they haven't been doing anything on the power play. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, short and sweet, guys. Power kill could be a little bit better, 73% last 3 weeks. For St. Louis, strong penalty kill for the Rangers. I'm taking the under. I'm taking the no goal first 9 minutes 30 seconds in this game, guys. How I think this game's going to go is with these goaltenders here. I don't see any of them letting in an early goal. I know this might sound like a stupid breakdown there, Jim, but just with Binnington starting here, coming off that 5-1 loss at home, fine, not worrying about it. And then on the other side, with the Rangers having these injuries, I don't think they're going to have you got Will Cooley, who's been like a bruiser on the first line without Zibanejad too. It's all screwed up for the Rangers right here. So I wouldn't be on the Rangers. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. That's how the Blues are going to want to win it too. So I wouldn't talk anyone off St. Louis, but I'm taking the no goal first 9 minutes, plus 125. Always get the plus money here. I love it.
I would bet that Binner, or not you call Binner, Binnington, Zibanejad. I would bet Zibanejad and Trouba are both in the lineup here. So if you want to back St. Louis, I would do that sooner rather than later, because I expect the Rangers to announce that Zibanejad and Trouba are in. But again, that's not none of that is confirmed. Locked in for Gogster. Okay, we got to speed this up a little bit, but yeah. Gogster is locked in. No goal first, 9 minutes, 30 seconds, plus 125 here. Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Chicago Blackhawks, 12-27-2, 14-17-1 on the road at Winnipeg Jets, 27-9-4, 14-5-2 at home. And we have, after this, we have back-to-back college basketball best bets. Daby Cab, Dave Rogers, and then Mikey Money. Blackhawks win, and then of course NBA. Blackhawks, Winnipeg Jets, Canada Life Center, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Jets down 27-9-4, 14-5-2 at home. Hey DG, speaking of good conversations that we've had, wasn't that beautiful? Our look on the Jets before the season started after the signing of Hellebuck and Scheifele. I mean, we just nailed that. That was a nice payout for the over 91.5. Mrazek versus Hellebuck here, and of course we have Connor Bedard out for 6 to 8 weeks with the jaw fracture. The Blackhawks coming off their 6th loss in 7 games to win at home versus the Oilers on Tuesday. The Jets coming off their 7th straight win, 5-0 at home over the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets on Tuesday. I wonder now are the Blackhawks just not going to be able to score because they're not going to be able to score on the power play, but they're going to be much better defensively as well. There was a lot of mistakes that Bedard was making, and now we have the Jets minus 415. They open up they're in the last 12 minutes, there's been a 40-cent move to the Chicago Blackhawks. That's wild. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's because Hellebuck's not going to be in that.
Yeah, I could see that. This would be a great spot to rest him. Great spot.
Yeah, 40-cent move there. Oh, and so maybe if there's no Hellebuck, then we don't want the under. That's a 40-cent move. There has to be an explanation for it. It is at 5.5, which makes sense.
Brossois is confirmed.
There we go. So there's the 40-cent move there.
Good call, Jimmy. Good call.
A Real Deal Prime says Patrick Kane. And Cheshire Cat says Brossois being excellent.
Yeah.
Real Deal Prime says Patrick Kane rumors to Winnipeg is getting heavy. Yeah, he'll be moved. Unless the Red Wings can keep rolling. But I want nothing to do with this game now. But I guess the under 5.5 does make some sense. Take it away, Gogster.
Yeah, this Chicago team, the injuries are too deep for me even to go on about them. It'll take you a while. So short and sweet, guys. They scored 1 goal, Jim. I had them first period, team total under first period last game there. They scored the 1 goal in the first. Final score's 2-1. I kind of want to go back to the well, but I'm not going to do it here, guys. But I don't think Chicago – I've listed off too, guys. This Winnipeg team, they haven't allowed more than 3 goals, I think, once in the last 20 games or something, and you've got the worst offensive team. So even with their backup goalie, the line's it's a 5.5 too I'm seeing here. So maybe Chicago team total under 1.5 could be live, plus 130. Not going to make the card, but should be a Winnipeg play here. And if the game's not going to be high scoring either, so take that for what it is.
Yeah, I guess the under 5.5 is probably a bet that should be made. God,
I would think so. And they do have Tenorti. Tenorti's in the lineup. It's just all their offense there. Jones, defenseman there. Tyler Johnson, Hall, Athanasiou. So they did get Joey Anderson back. He has been a bit of a bright spot for him. But yeah, the under does feel like maybe a good spot here. Yeah,
doesn't it? Look at this. Look at this group the Blackhawks have. First line's Kurashev, Radish, and Pitlick. Second line's Dickinson, Anderson, and Blackwell. Jesus, those are your top 6 forwards.
Yeah,
maybe this is just an under 5.5 here. Slatsy says 29 straight games Jets have given up 3 or less goals, and Billy Friedrich says Jets have allowed 6 goals in the last 5 games. Chicago scored 8 in the last 5, and this number at 5.5. It just shocks us because we're not used to it, but that doesn't mean we can't get underneath it.
It was plus 102 on Tuesday when I took this no goal Chicago first period. It's now minus 133 against Winnipeg, and Chicago was playing Edmonton last game, so the lines moved quite a bit. They're thinking there's going to be no goal.
But I still don't like those spots. I mean, one bad bounce and you lose when you were right. And I just think it's getting too cute in this stuff. So Slatsy says Pitlick was cut by the Habs and he's on the number 1 line. Cheshire might take Winnipeg minus 2.5. Remember, guys, when I went over all of the losses the Jets have had in the last month, and they were all against the worst teams in the league. And then they barely beat San Jose. That was the rematch after losing to San Jose, and they barely beat them 2-1. So this isn't the type of team that you want. You want the Jets against the best teams in the league, not against the worst.
Exactly.
And Johnny K has been yelling, "It's a trap."
It's a trap, boys.
I didn't under 5.5. Okay, 2 games left before we get into college basketball. Let's go to this one, 9 p.m. Eastern. Calgary Flames 18-5, 8-11-4 on the road to Arizona Coyotes 20-17-2, 13-8-0 at home, Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona. Markstrom, who's been playing much better, finally 2.68 goals against average, 908 save percentage on the year. Connor Ingram's been solid all year, 2.62 goals against average, 915 save percentage. Calgary power play 12.4%, penalty killing 83.9%. Arizona power play 23.2%, penalty killing 78.7%. And I want to back the Coyotes. I want to fade the Flames. There's been a huge move towards the Flames, and I've got enough action tonight to not, just act like I'm smarter than the market or better than the market. This total opened up at 6, minus 104 to the over. It's now minus 115 to the over. So that's interesting. And then the money line, I couldn't help but recognize this big move towards the Flames. The Flames have gone from -108 to -126 at Pinnacle. I mean, that's a big move for a pick'em situation, and I have enough action here to feel any need to get involved. The Flames had their 2-game losing streak snapped in a 6-3 win at home over the Senators on Tuesday. Coyotes snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 4-3 overtime win over the Bruins on Tuesday. This is the final game of a 5-game homestand. I mean, I don't like the final game of a homestand in NBA or NHL, but you lose the first 3 games, you beat the Bruins. Shouldn't you have the momentum to then beat this Flames team that's 8-11-4? They've won 8 of 23 games in regulation on the road. In saying all that, I'm going to respect this market move and just stay off of it. Take it away, Gogster. Second to last game on the NHL card, Flames Coyotes.
Without knowing that market move, I do think this is an Arizona spot, despite everything you said there. They're going to be getting back Zucker, too, off that suspension. He's going to be back in the lineup tonight, too. So they're getting back one of their key players. And another point, I agree with the sense that they just played Boston. They won 4-3 after losing 3 games before that. Calgary is playing over their head, too, in my opinion, Jim. They beat Ottawa 6-3, big deal. They can't beat anyone right now. And they lost to Chicago and Philadelphia before that. At plus money, I've already bit on the lure there. I took Arizona money line, guys, and the over 5.5 at plus 145. Getting Zucker back too. I think the Flames are scoring, and I don't see Markstrom. I think he's playing a little not over his head, but we've seen how poor he can be in this Arizona team. I've seen enough of them all year where I will back them. And Vejmelka, he has looked a little bit better, but he's very up and down too. So that's why I took the over 4.5 in this game, guys. But I do see Arizona winning this hockey game. We're getting plus 145. Power play has been rolling too. Should be a tough game for the Flames. If the Flames win this game, we've got to keep an eye on the Flames maybe going forward a little bit here.
Yeah, and the lines that have gone against me that I've stayed off, I would have cashed. I would have had a positive ROI. I've tracked them. So
I don't know why. Why is this line moving though, Jim? That's the thing. I'm a little I'm trying to figure out why Zucker's back. Why would it be going another way? Vejmelka or Ingram shouldn't really make a difference here. I don't know. It's an interesting fact that I'm still going to take Arizona, but it's never a good sign when you can't kind of read why a market's moved in the sense it did. So it's very interesting.
Going to keep me off of it, unfortunately. Let's move on to 10 p.m. Eastern. Boston Bruins 24-8-8. Final game of the NHL card. 12-5-5 on the road. Vegas Golden Knights 23-12-5, 14-4-2 at home. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. I had no idea it was going to be in net for Vegas. And I told you guys, and I wish I didn't go on the over, but it is what it is. It was sort of an Aiden Hill thing, and then Patera played great. But I was on Avalanche -1, and I told you guys this Knights roster is not very good. I mean, it's hard for me to say that out loud, but it is not very good. They don't have – they're using important pieces in their forward group that are being cast offs from other teams. And you see it. You just see it out there. They're not playing well. Now, they looked horrible last night. Outshot 35-25, out-hit 18-11, completely outplayed, dominated. And now they get to go right back to it. So I do have a belief in this hockey. How could we not? That they have heart and they have character and they just got dominated. So I'm back on the Golden Knights here tonight. And then I also, it's not easy leaving Arizona and flying to Vegas and then sitting there for 48 hours before a hockey game. And I'm not saying that the Bruins went out and snuck down to the blackjack table or had a few drinks or anything like that. They're professionals. I have no idea what they were doing, but it's not easy handling that. And I don't think it's the best situation to back a hockey team when they're sitting there in Vegas after being in Arizona. So, look, I took Vegas. Vegas right now was at a higher number that I got them at plus 118. Right after that, I guess. Oh, no, it's been bouncing back and forth around there. It's up to plus 121 now. That's fine. I don't care. This is a buy low spot on Vegas that just got embarrassed. The whole idea of the second half of the back-to-back, these teams being exhausted, just is not the case with professional sports anymore. I think it's overvalued. This total is at 6. It's juiced to the over minus 115. I have nothing to do with the over. I just know that the Kent Davis says huge line move towards the Bruins. Really? Sorry, let me just double check that. I have not seen that here. Let me go. The The Bruins have gone from. The Bruins are right where they opened. The Bruins opened at -134. Now, Pinnacle was late to the party. So Pinnacle opened this at 8 in the morning. So maybe that's not the right test. Let's go to Bet Online. Maybe Bet Online will do this for us. Bet Online. It has not moved a cent at Bet Online, but that also opened at 8 in the morning. So there's not moved 1 cent. Open at -130. There's been no market move towards the Bruins whatsoever that I can see in any book. And I think Vegas is going to bounce back here. They were absolutely horrific. Now, do I want Aiden Hill in that? Do I want Logan Thompson in that? I don't want either of them in that. But I just have to believe in this team to bounce back. Take it away, Gogster. That's my last spot on the board. And these were the spots that I liked the most. Truly, the two additions I made being the Vegas at +118, the Islanders at +115 are my favorite spots really on the board for risk reward. Take it away, though, Gogster.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way here. I got Boston with the goaltending here. I think it's going to be Thompson. Hill's been out for a while. And then the injuries, too, for Vegas. Carlson's out for Vegas. Whitecloud's been out still. Carrier is going to be out. Theodore's still been on like the long term. The spot here just seems like Vegas they're not playing really good hockey right now. That on at Seattle January 1st, they lost 3-0. Then they had Florida on the 4th, lost 4-1, beat the Islanders 5-2. And now it's the same thing. It seems like you got Colorado, you lost 3-0. And you got a Boston team too, Jim. They're kind of pissed off too. They're coming off 2 losses, 4-3 at Colorado, at Arizona. I think we're going to see. I like the goaltending too for Swayman. He's been fine, better home goalie, but I'm going to trust Boston here. The number is getting a little bit up there. Power plays too, guys. We're bringing up the last 3 weeks, kind of how these teams have been playing. Boston second in the league here, 40% power play, and then looking at Vegas, they're only sitting at 13%. No Carlson. Theodore, they're missing some pieces there too, coming off the back-to-back. I'm going to end up going here, guys, with Boston money line, and I'm taking their team total over 2.5 here. Kind of think it's a bad spot, and just the injuries with Vegas here. Not to say Boston doesn't have injuries, though. Carlos day-to-day, same with Forbert and Portras. So they have a couple guys also out, but I think Boston can get it done here, guys. Money line and team total over.
I'm on the other side. I think this is top 3 spots on the board for sure, and maybe my favorite. I watched the entire game of Vegas last night, completely outplayed, showed no emotion.
Colorado played good, really good.
Yeah, they looked very good. But Vegas coming back, Boston Bruins sitting on their hands. Now, Aiden Hill was pulled 2 hours before the start. So does that mean he's not starting here? I have no idea. Maybe did they want him to start at home? I have no idea why he was pulled 2 hours before the start. I feel like that messed up my total, but I just to expect a Stanley Cup champion to be embarrassed and then have another opportunity 24 hours later at home against a very tough Bruins squad and not step up, I do think is a mistake. But Dominic, I love that story, my friend. But there is our NHL breakdown. So let's review all action. Now, you added 1 spot, but Gogster is on Carolina in regulation and the under 8.5. He's on San Jose Sharks first period +128. He's on the Kraken money line -120. Ottawa money line at +112. New York Rangers St. Louis no goal first 9 minutes and 30 seconds +125. Arizona money line in the over 4.5 at +145. Boston money line in the team total over 2.5. So we are up against each other in 2 spots.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm on Buffalo. You're on Ottawa. And I'm on Vegas, and you are on Boston. So I made 5, and we're going to talk about the addition here. I had those 5 spots that I moved on pre-show. Last night, the ones that I thought I was going to be beating the market moves on, I got the Kraken -1 at +151, the Oilers -1 at -113, and the Sabres -1 at +123. The plays that I moved on this morning that I'm really, really like, Islanders +115 and Knights +118. Then from the breakdowns here on the show, Gogster's on the Sharks first period. I feel like I need to move on that, and I hate saying that. And then Gogster, Kings first period. I do like it, and I think the under 6 does make sense. But I wonder if we're better off taking under first period under 1.5. My concern is what if the Kings are up 2-0 again after the first?
That's why I like first period. Yeah.
But Kings first period and possibly the under 6 would be the addition. And then your lone addition was where? I thought I had it written down.
LA Kings was the addition there, Jim.
Oh, LA Kings first period was the addition. And then I'm moving on the under 5.5 in Chicago, Winnipeg. under 5.5 in Chicago, Winnipeg. And that is our NHL breakdown for Thursday, January 11th. What a giant card for us to attack. Must make money on it this evening. It's been a middling season for both of us, but the black is right there. We're one good night away from the black on the season, Gogster. So let's get after it right now. Gogster, what a treat it is to cap the card with you every Thursday. Every Tuesday, you can watch him capping the NHL card here with our guy, Peter Loshak. And you have a big golf tournament. Before we have 3 cappers coming up, one at a time, to drop their best bets in college basketball. What moves have you made in golf? And has it just started?
Yeah, it's literally just kicking off right now, guys, in Hawaii. Sony Open, Gogster 99. I'll tweet it all. Outrights, first-round leaders, top finishes, you name it. Outrights this week, we got 5 of them. We got Eric Cole, 32-1, Poston, 33, McCarthy, 40, Svensson, 50, and Glover, 68. And I also got some big news for you guys, too. I'm actually going to be going to the Sunday night NFL game, Jim. I'm going down to Detroit, so I'll be there at the Rams-Lions game, guys. So check me out on Twitter there. I'll have to tweet out some pictures and whatnot. Yeah, my buddy got some tickets, huge Rams fan. So I'll be making the trek down to Ford Field, and Gogster will be live. So
that'll be dope, man.
First NFL game ever, bro.
Is it your first time in Detroit?
Yeah, first time Detroit too. Yeah.
Are you going to get there a little earlier, or are you going right to the game?
No, we're getting there early. We're going to Hockey Town. We're meeting up with some friends too. So
you got to go to Green Dot Stables.
Green Dot Stables?
You have to go. It's going to rock your whole world. You get a mint julep. It's a horse racing situation, but it's the best slider bars. You can have crocodile, kangaroo, whatever slider you want. It's magic.
I just wrote it down. We'll definitely
Green Dot. Absolutely magic. Green Dot Stables. Absolutely. It's the greatest place you could possibly go pregame, man. Get a mint julep. Feel like you're in Kentucky. It's fucking magic. All right. And Matty Ice says Slows. Slows barbecue is amazing. It's amazing. But if I was going with buddies, I'd go right to Green Dot, man. Green Dot's just like, oh, my God. We love you, Gogster. Please follow Gogster on X at Gogster99. He switched his Twitter handle, more suitable for our guy.
A little easier to find. Yeah.
Gogster, any last words for the Capitals?
Just best of luck tonight, guys. Cash those tickets and be good. We'll see you on Tuesday.
All right. I love it. Love it. Okay. Okay, so we have thank you, Dave, for letting us know that. I will change that up here. So that is the North Dakota Omaha game. So we're going to cut that one from Dave's action here. Line move too much. And I'll just keep this down here so I can remember here. Okay. All right, let's get into college basketball. I'm coming off an 0-2 day yesterday. Very frustrating. I was just very frustrating. It's been an excellent season, but very frustrating. Your first guest coming off a 2-3 day, down 1.36 units. We're both having excellent seasons, so we're both very frustrated with that we didn't deliver for you guys. And the best thing about not delivering, which is why I'm on the Vegas Golden Knights tonight, is that you get another chance 24 hours later to deliver for the cappers here who put so much energy into the show and for our own bankrolls that our whole life is dependent upon. So please welcome your next guest, the star of Medicate Mondays here on Pop Sports Radio every Monday at 11 a.m. Also the star of All About the Hoops live NBA and college basketball bet stream every Wednesday night, as well as our Saturday live bet stream for college basketball from Dallas, Texas. Please welcome Mr. Daby Cab to the show. Daby, how are you, my friend?
Jimmy, you said it, man. It's frustrating when we lose. I'll be honest. And this is not just for yesterday. This is any day for any of us, you guys in the chat, any of us up on here on screen that gamble day in and day out. Man, when you lose, it's easy to want to go put your head under the fucking covers and cry about it. But the truth is, we got more action the next day. And if you hang your head and pout like a little bitch, you're not going to win any money the next day. You're going to lose more money, and then you're going to lose more money. So you got to get over it. It's something, I learned with pitching. You walk somebody, you give up a home run. So what? You got to go get the next guy. We're still up on the season. We have a bankroll to build on, and that's what we're about to do.
Oh, well put. Well put. I wish I could cry it out, man. I wish I could cry. I just stare at the fucking ceiling. I stare at the fucking ceiling till 5 a.m, just staring.
I do it too.
But let's get to work, Daby Cab. And only one game on the board for Daby Cab. Let's talk about quickly the Matty Ice taint play of the day. It's St. Thomas -1.5. The taint play of the day is in. We love you so much, Matty Ice. We're sending all of the most positive energies that we have to your mom today. And the taint play of the day is in. Shout out to our Matty Ice. All right. Also, the
Yeah.
stacks play of the day is in from Justin McKelvey. It's Greensboro +4. Greensboro +4, UNC Greensboro. And that one dude making a huge move on Michigan State. But we're going to go over all of that stuff. We also have Joe T's best bets in his action. We'll go over all that. But let's get to Daby Cab's first spot on the board here. And that is Florida Atlantic at Tulane. Now, a good thing about this spot as well is you're going to hear two different cappers capping this. So Mikey Money is also capping Florida Atlantic Tulane as well. Let's get after it. We are in the Devlin Fieldhouse, New Orleans, Louisiana. Tulane 10-4, but 1-1 in conference. So is Florida Atlantic 1-1 in conference. Florida Atlantic coming off that shocking loss at Charlotte. You could imagine that they are an angry group. That loss was on Saturday, 70-68. Tulane also coming off a loss, a 14-point loss at North Texas on Saturday. So both teams coming off of frustrating losses. Let's get into the line history here. I guess the Florida Atlantic loss probably stung a little more than what happened with Tulane. But let's get into the line history here for this one. Again, this one's popping off at 7, and we have Tulane at +8 right now. We're going to be using Bet Online openers and closers. Don't forget about our link to Bet Online. If you're opening up a brand new account, they'll give you a 100% match up to $1,000. Here we go. Tulane opening up at +6.5, and they moved to +8 at 9:53 this morning. It's a 1.5 point move. Interestingly enough, the first move was towards Tulane. That moved down to +5.5. Public has come in and they're hammering Florida Atlantic, and the books are acknowledging it and moving the line in their direction. So we're looking for action on the other side now. We have, from a total standpoint, we're sitting here at a very high 162. This opened up at 163. It got down to 161.5. There's been a little bit of buyback, but this is juiced to the under at 162. Enormous number there. And then from the cash flow standpoint, just get over there. Sorry, I wasn't set up appropriately. Here we go. From a cash, that's at CAF. Sorry. From a cash flow standpoint, we have the 24th ranked Florida. Shit, I blew past it. Florida Atlantic. My bad. Sorry about this. Here we go with 45% of the tickets and 50% of the cash. So it's not the fact that the public is on Florida Atlantic. The books are moving it on their own volition.
I figured the public would be on Tulane here.
55% on Tulane. On the total, 58% of tickets and 73% of cash on the under. Take it away for us, Daby Cab, your lone college basketball spot on the board. Florida Atlantic, Tulane.
The line anything can happen. It doesn't mean what's going to happen, but it's a good indicator. And this line should tell you guys something. When I saw this line first open, I assumed the books were begging for people to bet Tulane at 6.5. I think this should be a 5.5 is what I would have put it at. So when I saw 6.5 and then I saw it go up, I was a little shocked because, Florida Atlantic, after last season, everybody knows who they are. But, they've had not just the last game that they lost. They've had a couple losses in their last 3 games here. That's their second time in 3 games as they fell to Charlotte on the road in that last contest. In that game, the Owls dropped down 9 points at the very beginning of the game, and they came out at halftime down 41-26 at half. And then we're down by as many as 17 points in the second half. So, they were beaten badly. It wasn't a close game. But you look at this Florida Atlantic team, they do have the win against Arizona. So we do have some better teams that we have seen them match up against still. They're 37th in the nation in scoring offense. They're pulling down 37.1 rebounds a contest, which puts them a little above average at 148. They give out 14.7 assists per night, which is, again, a little above average at 148. They've got multiple players on this team that can score. And then you look across here at Tulane. Tulane is a very high octane offense. They're 8th in the nation right now in scoring offense, 86.9 points per game. Tulane's grabbing an average of 32.8 boards per game. This team, very good offense. Where Tulane falters is on defense. And I could understand maybe looking at the over, but this total's got way up there. But I get it because we're looking at 2 high octane offenses, like I said. But with all that being said, Tulane has serious issues on the defensive end of the floor. And for a team like FAU, who has lost 2 of their last 3 and has expectations up here for their season, and right now they're playing here, this is a pivotal game for this team. If they lose this team, they're fucking nobody again. I'm just going to be the first one. If they lose this game, FAU, their season is in shambles. If they win this game, they're still in the mix. They can keep building. This is a very important game for FAU, especially sitting at 1-1 right now in the conference. I think this is a Florida Atlantic team that's looking to get on track. And when you're looking at a Green Wave team that averages giving up 9.7 threes per game, which is 356th in the nation, and then they allow opposing teams to shoot 34.4% from beyond the arc, which is 265th in the nation. I think Florida Atlantic got the wake-up call last week, and I think they come out early. They get ahead. I think they stay ahead. I got Florida Atlantic first half -3.5.
Florida Atlantic first half -3.5 at -114 for Daby Cab, picking one game to hammer to get back to his winning ways. Thank you for sharing it with us, Daby Cab. We've got to figure out what game you guys want to rock on Saturday for your big college basketball live bet stream.
Does somebody have Michigan, Illinois on their Michigan State, Illinois? What, either Dave or Mikey?
No. Oh, yes. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. Yes, Mike is closing with it.
Okay, I'm gonna hang around, and if I want to move on anything, is it cool if I pop back up?
We'd love that. Okay. It's the last game. It's the last game on the college basketball slate. So yes, we'd like that. Okay, dope. All right, Daby Cab going to be rocking back with us. Why don't you, Daby Cab, just come back regardless if you move on it or not. Just come back and join us for that next game, for that last final game. All right, let's move on to our next college basketball capper, star of Nerd Talk Wednesday through Friday on the Picks from Dave YouTube channel. He's also on Michigan. Sorry, we have two different caps. So we have. Oh, my bad. Why? God, I should realize that we have two guys on Michigan State, Illinois. So we have Dave and Mikey M both on that one. Cornholio Rodriguez, senior. There's a junior Cornholio out there somewhere, is on Michigan State as well. And we also heard from, I think I copied and pasted some other people who like the Michigan State spot. But let's get into it. Let's bring them on right now. Please welcome to the show from Arizona by way of California, Mr. Dave Rogers to the show. Dave, how are you, my friend?
Good morning, Jimmy. Good morning, Ramon. Good morning, chat. I'm great and ready to break down these games.
Well, let's get right after. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Let's get right after it. You have 3 spots on the board, and you have recently dropped one of them because of the market move. So it was just moving too far in your direction?
Yeah, so that was North Dakota, Omaha. 146.5 is what I got it. It dropped 3 points. It might even be dropping. I mean, I tinkered with the idea of keeping it in, but as you know, I've been hooked and one-pointed on my record on this show, maybe for half of my bets. So I'm going to leave it off. But I got it at 146.5. If you got it, congratulations. If you didn't, it's too late.
Well, let's get right to action that is available here for you. And we start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Stony Brook Seawolves, 8-7, 1-1 in conference, going up against Towson in Towson. And Towson with the exact same record as Stony Brook. Stony Brook coming off the loss to Charleston on Saturday, College of Charleston, a 93-87 for Stony Brook that snapped a winning streak. They shot 55.6% from the field and 42.1% from three, only turned the ball over 7 times, put up 87 points in the loss. They were 6.5-point favorites, so they did cover by a hook. That is the Stony Brook Seawolves, who are traveling to Towson, Maryland. Towson's won 3 of their last 4 games. They also played on Saturday, coming off a 67-64 win over UNC Wilmington Seahawks. They shot 50% from 3 in the victory. Minus 1.5-point favorites were UNC. And Towson shot 50%, which is an enormous number, and covered and won at home as a very slight dog. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Now, Dave is focusing on a total in this one, so why don't we start with the situation here for the total. Right now at Bet Online, this is 129.5. Opened up at 130.5 at 2:48 p.m. 11 minutes later, dropped 1.5 points. Then there was buyback, a buyback up to 130.5. Dropped to 129.5 this morning, and now it's actually at 129. 4 minutes ago, it moved a half point to 129. You can still get the hooks out there, but it dropped to 129 4 minutes ago. Let's get into the spread here for this Stony Brook Towson spot from a spread perspective. We are sitting here with Stony Brook at +5. They opened up right there. They went to 4.5, but they're back at 5. So that's where we are. There's been no move there. And let's see if we can get any information on the cash flow with these two squads. Let me pull it up here. We do. There's 611 tickets, so I don't want to get too much into it. But right now, 33% of the tickets are on the over and 66% of the cash. The books are moving it towards the under, not respecting that money on the over. And then 59% of the tickets and 96% of the cash is on Towson. 96%. The line went from 4.5 and then came right by 5. Right by 5. Take it away for us here, Dave. Your first spot on the board, Seawolves, Tigers.
Yep, we'll start with Stony Brook. Stony Brook averages 70.5 points per game, and they give up 75 points per game. Both average to below average, but they're an over team. 9-4-1 to the over this season, and their games go over the total almost by 5 points a game from the closing line. So just an over team right off the bat. And Towson, it's a little bit different story. They have a decent defense, only give up 66 points per game. And they don't score at 64 points per game. This is on the season. But when you look at the last 6 games, that's sort of changed against D1 schools. They're averaging 73 on offense and giving 69 up on defense. And the total of the last 6 games is 4-2 to the over. At 129, and I liked it at 130.5, I believe is what I gave you. But it just seems a tad too low. Stony Brook is an over team. And with Towson scoring and giving up the points that they are the past few games, I think we go over. So you can sit and wait and try to get a hook and tinker it around. But, I like this up to 130.5, 131 where I had it last night. So I'm on the over.
Let's hook that up for you right now. Get you that 129. Interesting for this. So Towson shoots 50% from 3 in their win over UNC Wilmington. They shoot 22% in the game before that and 25% the game before that. That makes me want to move on Stony Brook. Did you have a lean here on the side?
I actually lean Stony Brook too, even though they're the dog, right? I didn't put down
5-point dog.
Yeah. I lean Stony Brook, definitely. And if you lean Stony Brook, you should be leaning the over too, I think.
My only concern there is that it would. I'm sort of first off. There's big bets that have been made on Towson, so I don't know if I move on this right after the show, but it would be expecting Towson to not deliver from 3. But it's a very low total. They could shoot 25-30% from 3 and still deliver. It's 128.5 right now here. So we're going to give you that one. You didn't tweet these out, right?
No.
128.5 at -108. So there you go. Dave is locked in with Stony Brook Towson over 128.5 at -108. And I'm interested in backing the Seawolves here. So I'm going to sit with that a little longer. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 8 p.m. Eastern, Utah Valley Wolverines, 8-7, 3-1 in the WAC at UT Arlington Mavericks, 6-9, 1-3. We're at College Park Center in Arlington, Texas for this one. Utah Valley coming off back-to-back wins, stopping a losing streak. So they haven't lost in 2024 if you want to focus on that, but they were not looking good before that. They're coming off an 18-point win over Southern Utah, 5.5-point favorites. And it was a very tight game until they pulled away late at home. The Wolverines did. For UT Arlington, they are in the midst of a big losing streak. UT Arlington's lost 5 straight games. They're coming off, all 5 of those are on the road. And here they are back at home. I wonder how that changes things. For a legit home game for UT Arlington that's against a Div 1 competition, you have to go back to November 29th against Abilene Christian. They won that by 15. They lost to Texas State. We know Texas State pretty good. They lost by 7. Beat Alcorn State by 13. But we've got to go back far. So they've played 5 real home games against, actually 4 against Div 1 competition. They're 3-1. That's a long time away from home spots. At SF Austin, they lose 92-73. They were out of it immediately. They were 7.5-point dogs. SFA shot 50 from the field and 48 from 3. So that is the situation here for Utah Valley and UT Arlington. That's a very fascinating situation, not having a legit home game against Div 1 competition since November 29th. And so both teams played on Saturday. Let's get over to the total here for this one. Sorry, I didn't have that up yet. Got to get this going faster here. From a total spot here in this whack game, Arlington versus Utah Valley. Sorry, let me move back over to here. We're sitting with a 3. Texas Arlington 3-point favorites. They open up at 3.5. They just got down to 1.5 last night.
Yeah,
then,
Jimmy, that's perplexing to me. With you know, I'm not going to interrupt you, but I'm going to touch on that.
Oh, do it. Yeah, that's
yeah. So here's the thing in a college game. So it's really, really hard to get injury reports from these small schools. In fact, you never get them until they're announcing it on the game. If you're watching it on ESPN Plus, you might get a beat writer that you know or whatever. So I couldn't find anything on why it went from 1.5 because I liked it at 1.5 and it went up to 3.5. It went up to 3. But even if it's an injury or something, like how many points on these small team is a player worth? A quarter point? A tenth of a point? How many players have to be out for it to move that much? And then the other question is, on such a small game, if you're a ticket and handle guy, how much money and how many bets is really on this game that moved that line that much? So it's perplexing, is what I'm saying.
Huh. So it opens up with Utah Valley plus 3.5 at Bet Online yesterday, 2:59 p.m. At 9, almost 10 at night, it moves to 2.5. At almost 11 at night, it moves to 1.5. And then this morning, it comes right back to 3. So we've had this half-point move towards Utah Valley. Then from a total perspective, we're sitting here at 146. This opened up at 142.5 and has climbed. If an important offensive piece was out of the lineup, we wouldn't expect it to fire up that much.
Yeah.
We have 30% of the tickets and 39% of the cash on Utah Valley, 30 and 39. And from a total side of thing, we have no information. Take it away for us here, Dave. Wolverines, Mavericks.
Yeah, my guess, like I said, that's more of your bailiwick than mine, but my guess would be that any sort of betting information would be minimal to nil on this sort of game. So we're never going to find out why that move happened. So I'm just going to go back to my cap and trust in my cap. Both of these teams aren't particularly good on offense. They score around 7 points per game. Their free throw shooting isn't that great. It's around 70%. I mean, not horrible, but not great. And UT, the only real, I guess, discrepancy is UT Arlington's offensive rebound numbers are quite a bit above average, but really everything on offense is pretty equally not great for both teams. Defense is the other side of the coin. UT Arlington's giving up almost 79 points per game, while Utah Valley's holding teams to 69 points a game. A big discrepancy in scoring defense. When you look at the teams and what they've done against the spread, Arlington is 4-3 their last 7, but they've lost their last 5 games outright. And granted, some of those teams were really good, like Texas and Texas Tech and North Texas, but you know, they're covering at about 50%, and they're on a big losing skid. And then you go to Utah Valley, who's 5-2 ATS their last 7, covering against good teams as well, Oregon State, Utah, and winning their last 2 games against Cal Baptist and Southern Utah. So I guess the story of the tape here is when you have such a big defensive discrepancy, everything's equal. You have a team on a losing skid and the other team's covering. I got to go with that team that's covering and winning. So I'm on Utah Valley. The line movement the wrong way. Actually, it's the right way, but it's the wrong way when you look at it, when you bet it early. Be damned. But Utah Valley, give me the Wolverines.
Wolverines plus 3. Do you think that with a team like UTA that's played 15 games this year, with 8 coming on the road, you know, they played at New Mexico, at Arizona, at Grand Canyon, at Texas Tech, at Texas. Do you think that their numbers might be skewed? They might be better than we think they are, but we don't know because they haven't been playing against even competition. And
so it's hard to tell with these small schools. I have something else to say that's going to be in the next game, which are 2 big 5s, you know, big schools in Illinois and Michigan State. With these small schools, it's really hard to tell whether home court advantage is a thing. Some of these guys are playing and with max capacities of 1,500 people. Also, these aren't games where students show up to like the other big games, so it's really hard. I think home and away matters much less for these small schools than big schools for very obvious reasons. So to answer your question, I don't know. Potentially, maybe they feel more comfortable playing in that gym, but I don't know.
The last time UTA played at home, we're going back to November 29th, 1,275 people at the College Park Center. They also shot 57.4% from the field and 54.5% from three. Then they don't get to play at home for a long time. It's a fascinating situation. Okay, so Dave has moved on Utah Valley. I have interest in an expectation that these numbers aren't right because we haven't seen Utah Arlington at home enough. Not that I believe in what happened November 29th, but it's a very interesting spot. I would like to look a little further at UT Arlington here. But Dave has moved on Utah Valley +3 at -110. All right, let's go to a Big Ten big basketball game here. You're going to hear Dave Rogers cap this, and then you're going to hear Mikey Money and Dab cap this at the end of Mikey's action. Mikey is going to touch on the Florida Atlantic Tulane spot. He's also on William and Mary Hampton and Michigan, Maryland. We also have that Michigan, Maryland spot that Joe T has given us from his model, his second best spot on the board. But let's go to Spartans Illini next. State Farm Center in Champaign. Spartans 9-6, but 1-3 in conference, where the Fighting Illini 11-3, 2-1 in conference. The Michigan State Spartans coming off that loss, snapping their winning streak 88-74 at Northwestern on Sunday. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. They got down immediately and stayed down, and they shot well. It was just that Northwestern shot 54.2% from the field and only turned the ball over 5 times. They were 2.5-point favorites, and they lose at Northwestern. We watched Chicago State go into Northwestern and beat them earlier. Then Illinois also coming off that 5-point loss at Purdue. It was a pretty impressive performance here from the Illini. 10.5-point dogs. They were down big, and they played very well in the second half, very well late, shot 42.1% from three. Of course, they got destroyed on the board, so that'll happen against Purdue. They lose 43-28 on the boards. That's Michigan State, Illinois. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one, popping off at 9 p.m. Again, we're going to hear this game twice. I won't do the setup the second time. Over at Bet Online, they got the Illini -3.5. That's exactly where they opened. They got it to 4, and they've come back to 3.5. From a total side of things here, over here, we have them sitting at here we go. We have them sitting at 147.5, juice to the over. This opened up at 149.5, got up to 150.5 before it started dropping. So we have a 2-point move to the under and no move at all on the spread. Let's see what the cash flow has to say about all of this one here. I wonder if there's big money on one side. First off, 44% of the tickets and 60% of cash on the over. We've seen this heavy drop. Then on the spread, 50-50, but 71% of the cash is on Michigan State. Interesting spot here. Take it away for us, Dave. Your last spot on the board, Spartans, Illini.
Yeah, so we'll just go team by team, and then we'll get to the important point I was talking about before. Illinois has been a cover machine, 8-2 their last 10, and really for good reason. They score 83.5 points per game. That's 16th in the country. They play defense, give up less than 67 a game. They're above average in shooting free throws, but it's interesting that they got pounded on the boards. Granted, Edey is kind of a beast against Purdue because they're one of the best rebounding teams in the country, especially on defense, 5th in the country, almost 29 rebounds a game. And Michigan State, they've also been covering last 5 out of 6 they've covered against the spread. And when you look at them statistically, they're not bad either. They're just not better than Illinois in any important category except for scoring defense. To give up 1 less point a game. But when you're looking at 65 and 66 points, they're both good defenses. I'm looking at these Michigan and the dynamic of the games they've had on the road. So they've only had 5 out of 6 games they've covered, but they've only covered one true away game. In fact, they've been away from East Lansing and covered one time out of 6 games, and that includes neutral sites. State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois, can go off. It seats 15,500 people. This is where home court matters. And when you have a team like Michigan State that has struggled to cover outside of East Lansing, whether it's been a neutral site game or an away game, which again, this is only their second true away game, and you look at the discrepancies between the two teams, I like Illinois' rebounding better. They score more points. They give up just about the same amount of points, so their defenses to me are equal. I know actually I'm seeing some 2.5s juiced to -120. The line's going away from my position, but I don't see Illinois not winning by 2 possessions here. I have a feeling that there's going to be other people that are come on the show that are probably on the other side, but I like Illinois to cover by 2 possessions here. And there's a 2.5, a 3, and a 3.5. I'm seeing.
What would you
I'll take the 3 at -115. I don't think I need to.
That at -110.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the 3. Just to be on a round number. I don't want to take -120, and I don't think I'll need it. And 3.5 might hook me, so we'll take a 3.
Let me just quickly see if I can beat that for you at Penny. So the Illini being backed here by our guy Dave Rod. Oh no, so it definitely won't be able to beat that here. It's exactly, yeah. So the -2.5 is -118. 3 -110.
Yeah, if you can get -118, that's fine. That's fine. Let's do that. I mean,
what, the 118?
Yeah. Because wait a minute. I can get -110 with 3 or -115.
Yeah, -110.
-1. Take the 3. I'll take the 3.
We just got great news from Matty Ice. Has just got done talking with the doctor, and says surgery went great. She's doing great. Doc said they got all of the cancer out. Didn't see any more.
Awesome, man.
There we go. What wonderful, wonderful news. We love that family so much. We had been so much fun watching Briggsy grow up, now 4 years old. What a ball player Briggsy's going to be, man. God, he's going to be money. He's going to have an arm like his dad. And hearing that that was successful is wonderful, wonderful news, Matty. Thank you for sharing that with us. And just thank you for being such a big part of our group, man. We love you so much. So wonderful, wonderful news. Billy Friedrich celebrating the news by gifting out a Pub Sports Radio membership. Dale Fick grabbing it. That's just great, great news. Great, great news to bless the day. Great, great news. So Dave Rogers, Illinois -3 at -110, Utah Valley +3 at -110, and the over 128.5 at -108 in Stony Brook and Towson. And we've had our guy Jay Peasy roll with you on that over as well, Stony Brook Towson over. Dave, thank you for sharing your college basketball action. You can catch him here every Thursday delivering the goods here in NCAA basketball. You can also catch Nerd Talk on Picks from Dave YouTube channel Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night. Dave, any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
Nope. Thanks. Shout out to the chat. Like Jimmy said, we've got Nerd Talk. It went last night, so it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's a live betting show, and you'll see some familiar faces that you see on this channel. Like I said, thanks to the chat. Thanks to Ramon backstage. Thanks to Jimmy. Best of luck. Let's kill him.
Dave, just before you go, looks like they've moved it to 2.5 at FanDuel. So if it's -110 at 2.5, we'll take that.
Well, is it when I say -120 at FanDuel?
Okay, so then we'll stick with
we'll leave it.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. Great stuff from Dave Rogers. Oh man, that's just horrific, Kong. I'm so sorry you had to go through this. God damn. Kong said that he lost his mom at 51, his dad at 56 to cancer. Says, remember, life is short. Spend all the time that you have with family. Oh man. God damn, Kong. That's just, I hate hearing that, man. I mean, there's nothing anybody can say other than that we love you and we love capping with you, and you're not alone. You'll never be alone. And as soon as you get that ankle bracelet off, you can come roll with us everywhere. But we got your back, 100 times out of 100, man. And if there is joy that we can bring to your life, capping with you every day, we will make it a point to deliver that nonstop. So I'm so sorry you had to go through this, and I imagine that it has brought you great strength that you were able to carry your family through all of this, and that you're probably an indomitable force now, where you can't be stopped by anything in life. I imagine that's the case with you, just from hanging out with you in the chat. But Good God. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, Con. Good God. Cool, Kev. We'll go over all the action here in a minute, my man. But let's bring on your next guest here. Matty Ice has a Live Strong tattoo on his left forearm as well. Good God, Con. Sorry to hear that, man. But we're family here, so it's just thankful to cap with you every day, man. Whew, that's heavy. All right, let's bring on your next guest. Finish off college basketball here. He is the star of Last Call, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Also has been the star of many a live stream that we've had here on this show. We got 2 big games Sunday night and Monday night. Please welcome from the dirtiest of Chesters, and we're talking filthy Chester, Rochester, New York. Please welcome our guy, Mikey Money, to the show. Mikey, how are you?
Jimmy, I'm great, man. How you doing? Happy Thursday here. We're on the transition period to the weekend. It's a big day to stack some cash, my guy.
It's a crucial day for me. My in and out day with the locals Friday. 25% in and out. So Thursdays are crucial for me. And I've stepped my game up the last few Thursdays. So I need to do that here again. I'm going to go over my action here. Cool, Kev, too, because we have Darryl Rice joining us for NBA here in a little bit. But we have 4 spots in college basketball that Mikey Money is attacking, and one we've already broken down, so we don't need to do much for it. That's Florida Atlantic at Tulane. We're at Devlin Fieldhouse in New Orleans for this one. We have heard that Daby Cab is on FAU first half -3.5. And look at that. BT says he tied his wife's rebirth date from her blood transplant after surviving leukemia. Says, my daughter was the donor that saved her life, 6 years cancer-free. My good God, that is unbelievable. Unbelievable, the stories from our guys in the chat and in our group. I mean, that's just, imagine the strength you have after going through that. That's, these things that that life can be so relentless, just keep coming at you and just keep throwing curveballs and just keep fucking with you and trying to hurt you. And I can just imagine, BT, that when you go through that, with your wife and with your daughter, and you look into your daughter's eyes and you see that, she saved, your wife's life. I mean, I can't imagine you guys must be stronger than any possible force in the world now. And that the bond between you guys is just, there's nothing stronger in life. So what a story that is, BT, man. God. And to know that 6 years cancer-free is just so, my God, it's so unbelievable and so wonderful. And man, thank you for sharing that story with us as well, man. Thank you. Whew, heavy day here, Mikey, my man. Mikey, take it away. Florida Atlantic, Tulane. Are you with Dabra Cadabra? Or are you on the other side?
No, it's a big negative for me. I was talking to Dabra Cadabra about this one a little bit earlier this morning, as a matter of fact. And, kind of the sentiment there. This game feels a lot like the Marquette game yesterday to me. We were on the Marquette spot in the first half. And reason I don't do a lot of first half bets, just don't have a ton of success with them. But this one just felt like this spot that we talked about. You and I had it last week as well. These teams that kind of are coming off that letdown situation, they start strong and they carry it forward. But the thing about FAU is clearly had a tremendous season last year. You kind of got to expect there's going to be some growing pains. And I think that's clearly where we're heading. Can they make the leap? They kind of dip their toe into the relevancy factor of college Division I basketball programs, but takes a little time before you guys still have the floaties on your arm while you're swimming in the shallow end there to figure it out. And I think that's where they're at right now. They've kind of come off of, 3 straight spread losses in a row. And when it comes to being on the road, they're not a very strong road team, right? We see that what happened against Charlotte. They were an 8-point favorite against Charlotte. They win the game. They lose the game outright by 2 points against Charlotte. They play Eastern Carolina, -17 points against Eastern Carolina. They get the win, but they don't cover that spread either. And Florida Gulf Coast, they're laying almost 20 spot. They barely win the thing. Granted, it's a 4-point win, but the kind of win that I had of note was the St. Bonaventure spot. We've seen in the A10 that's a team that's been kind of surprising. And even when they were non-con against like the Big 12 and they had Oak State coming into town, they played a very hard spot there, 3.5-point dogs against Oak State. They come out and they win that game outright. Here we go at Bonaventure, laying 9.5. They win by 10, so I'll give them credit for that win. They played hard against Arizona, but it's almost like after that, they've kind of gotten into this conference play and fallen off the skids a little bit. So now you're going into a Tulane barn where, they've won 10 straight first halves in a row out there. They come out strong. They get rocking. They've won 13 straight games at home against ranked opponents. They're in a spot as well. I'm sorry, 9 straight games out there at home and 13 unders against ranked opponents. And when I think about that and I think about this under factor, that tells me they're going to cool the Jets a little bit on an FAU team that can shoot. The big factor for me in this one, the free throw attempt and free throw made capability. Number 1 in the nation. Does anybody know who it is? And this is how spreads don't get covered. I'll tip my hat to that and say it's Tulane. Number 1, free throw attempts and free throw mates. They draw fouls. They entice teams to get sloppy, and when they do, they capitalize on it. So it's a spot where they're averaging 86.9 points a game. Does that mean that they can't cover, that FAU doesn't come out here, cover that first half, get the job done? Sure. I mean, they're averaging 82 points a game on their own. But I think this is where the compression happens is in the second half here. We have a team in Tulane that does want to bounce back. They got a big opponent that's vulnerable right now in FAU. And when you smell blood, you break out the sword, you slice the head off, and you drag the carcass home for dinner. I like this Tulane spot. I think it's plus 7.5 now.
It's 8.
No, there's even plus 8s.
It's 8 now.
Yep.
Let's get you this 8 here for your first spot on the board. So you guys can both come home with it.
Yeah. And I told Debbie, I fully expect that. You look again at Marquette yesterday, big spot after a tough loss to a Seton Hall team, comes back, gets the job done in the first half, covers by 7 on a 6, even a 6.5. And then they end up losing the game outright. And I don't know that Tulane's a live dog in this spot, but trend shows these guys are very competent and capable to win the game at home. And small building or not, when you got a team like FAU that has that fresh car smell to them as far as being a D1 program last year that was relevant, people are going to get excited about this game in Tulane. And 10-4 versus 11-4, good opportunity to come out there. Just a lot of points to try to come out there with the win, especially at 8.
And Daby Cab cashed first half with Kansas yesterday and lost outright.
Yeah, there you go.
Our guy Joe T has been such a big part of our show here, and he's given us a best bet, a second best bet here for Michigan, Maryland. That's coming up in a little bit. He lost his father 10 months ago to pancreatic cancer, and that's we all know pancreatic cancer is just the worst. It's just the very worst. And our friend of the show, Tim Steves, had pancreatic cancer. And so I walked through that with him, and, I was sitting beside him when he took his last breath. And it's just, it's so tough, pancreatic cancer, because it's so brisk. It happens so fast. It's not like, and maybe that's what you want. You don't want to see someone you love be dragged through, the pain for so long, but it just doesn't feel like there's ever any kind of hope. It just feels like you're just holding on to the last few seconds. I'm so sorry you had to go through that with your father, Joe T, and you've brought so much to us as a group, man. And, when you lose someone so close to you, like we all have, you carry them along with you, so, and I'm sure you're carrying your dad with you wherever you go. And he's, looking over, making sure that you're making the right decisions. But I'm so sorry you had to go through that, Joe T. And God, and it's just so tough. But all you guys who are sharing these things, thank you. And it is what makes our group special. And that's why this isn't just a on-screen thing. That's why we go to San Antonio and we all break bread and drink together and gamble together and hang out together. And when you feel the bonds from this group, it's different. It's just different. And it's special.
Jimmy, Joseph Thompson's a great addition to the chat. I know I've said this before. He comes in last call as well. Consistently shares his best looks day in and day out. And this chat over the last, year and a half, just continues to get sharper and sharper. The looks are better and better. And the fact that these guys break them off and share their most favorite spots of the card in our shows collectively helps everybody just put more money in the pocket. So it takes a stand-up guy to be going through what he's going through and still put the effort in to kind of give it to share his hard work with everybody else, despite what he's going through, which is why we should have him in our thoughts and kind of put some good vibes, some good juju his way today for our guy, Joseph Thompson.
And Andrew G, I remember that when you went when he lost his mom, and he said that sports is what kept him going. It's good God, it's just it's I there whenever what it's funny, like sports is with you through your best times and your worst times. And that we want to be like that too. I see in life, some people are only around you when things are great because they don't want you to see when things are horrible or it's so tough or they're barely getting by. But that's not this group. This group, we want to be by your side when times are great and when times are at their toughest. We want to celebrate successes and be there with you when you need, a helping hand or a shoulder or just someone to sit and listen for a little bit. So that's what this group is. And wow, a heavy show today. And thank you all of you guys for sharing. And Matty Ice immediately, at the hospital being a part of our show. I mean, it's special. It's special. Good. Just what a group we have. Tulane +8 at -108 for Mikey Money. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. We head to the Convocation Center in Hampton, Virginia. William and Mary Tribe. You've been very good with William and Mary this year, Mikey. 6-9, 1-1 in conference at the Hampton Pirates. 4-11, 0-3 in conference. Damn, I thought I had this set up. I keep just heavy show today. A lot of times where you sit back but throughout the heaviness of it all, you do realize not only how special the group is, but how special it is that we get the cap together. That in the toughest times, I've always gone back to cap the card. Don't let it just go cap the card. And that's what we're doing right now. William and Mary has lost 3 of their last 4, coming off an ugly loss at home versus Drexel. The Dragons beat them up 77-55. We're in control all game long. They allowed Drexel to shoot 50% from the field and 54.5% from 3. William and Mary only turned the ball over 4 times and got crushed by 22 points. Drexel was 6.5-point favorites in that one. Here with Hampton, they're just, a pack of losers. Hampton has lost now 6 straight. They've lost. The only game that wasn't by double digits was at Eastern Michigan. All these other games they've lost by double digits. On Saturday, they lost to the mighty Camels. Fighting Camels took them out 80-69 and completely took over that game. Camels shot 49.1% from the field. Hampton was 3.5-point favorites in that one. So let's take a look at the cash flow in the line history here for this spot. William and Mary, Hampton. Game 2 on the board for Mikey Money. Over at Bet Online, we have Hampton +1.5 at -105. This opened up as Hampton is a favorite. So Hampton's gone from favorite to dog. William Mary's gone from dog to favorite, obviously. And that -1.5 is juiced at -115 over at Bet Online. From a total side of things here in game 2 on Mikey Money's board, we have the total, sitting at 151.5, juiced to the over. Opened up at 155, dropped all the way down. It just moved to 151. So it opened up at 155. It's dropped 4 points down to 151. And then when we get to the cash flow here for this spot, we have 57% of the tickets and 73% of the cash on William and Mary. I feel such deja vu of this spot, Mike. I swear that we were in the spot with William and Mary on the road where they went from dog to favorite, and we backed them. On the total, 67% of tickets and 94% of cash on the under. We've had a huge move towards the under. Take it away for us here, William and Mary, Hampton.
I think part of the reason why I love bum fights like this so much is because when you get that winner, it just feels that much better. Like, yeah, I was able to kind of navigate this landmine and battlefield and come up with a victory. And I think in this case here, talk about this bum fight. You talked about Hampton. They're just terrible. What are they? You said 6-game losing streak. Both these teams lost to Drexel, but Drexel's been stomping the shit out of teams right now. So I'm going to kind of discount that a little bit there, just in the fact that they are so much better than seems like the rest of the class. But, you look down the card here, and the big thing for me, there's 2 factors I look at is kind of the scoring factor here. Hampton hasn't hit 70 points in 5 straight games. They're just not getting the points on the board. Clearly, that's contributing to their losing streak. You got to factor when William and Mary's a money line favorite, Hasn't happened a lot, but when it does, they're 3 of 4. So I think that's exactly what you and I are referencing here and saying we've been there with these guys before where they flip from that dog to favorite. 75% win factors, pretty much all you can ask for. And it says that, makes sense. You get William and Mary starts out as a road dog. They're not doing that great this season. They've lost, 6 in a row on the road or 8 in a row on the road at this point now. So it makes sense. But then you see the steam coming in, the cash coming in, the earlier bettors are coming in and taking a whack at these guys saying, the Pirates, they're 1-9 this season when they enter the game as a dog of plus 103 or more. So not a spot you want to get involved with when it comes to being on the Hampton side of things. And, I think it comes down to the points and the scoring. If you look at these games that Hampton's played, they gave up 80 to Campbell, go shout out to them Camels, 80 to Delaware, the old Blue Hens, 99 to Drexel, 72 against a shit Eastern Michigan team, and 75 against Bowling Green. That's just their last 5. I mean, the game goes on and continues. And the key number here is 76, right? When you see the 76 factor and how ineffective, Hampton becomes when they can score, when the other team scores more than 76 points on them, they're just not getting the 70. They're letting up well over 76. And I think the biggest differentiator here is Dane Fisher. We talked about him. It was week 1 of the college basketball season. We didn't have a lot to go by, but what we went by is the acumen, that you will, that Dane Fisher's developed, the accomplishments he's come through, CAA Player of the Year development, CAA Defensive Player of the Year development, CAA Rookie of the Year development, 3 CAA selections to the All CAA team, 3 CAA selections to the All Rookie team, and that's a big one, and 4 CAA selections to the All Defensive team. Defense is going to be important this time of year, specifically to keep Hampton under 70. You got this time where this guy's a developmentally focused coach. And now we're at that point where, it should all come together. The Tribe, 2 of the 5 players selected to the league's top defensive team in 2 of the last 4 seasons. They're going to hold Hampton down. And we're seeing that Hampton clearly is letting points come in on the other side. We know when they flip from dog to favorite, it's a great spot. I just went with the money line. I don't want to get involved with some of that back and forth shit when it comes to this number. Is it a 1-point game, a 2-point game? I don't want to come in for a push. I just want this win. And I see minus 125s out there. So I think that's great value on a team that, these teams flip the series. They're back and forth with the series. And I just think it's a powerful spot for the coaching to shine through on a shit team like Hampton that can't score.
William Mary 0-6 on the road this year.
Terrible.
Would we say here confidently that Hampton's the worst team that they've seen?
Yeah. I mean, they got 4 wins. I don't know who they beat in those 4 games, but they shouldn't have any wins at this point in this season. They're just not a team that, they kind of go out. It's almost like they kind of recruit from the phys ed programs there and trying to say, hey, who wants to go out and play basketball today and put a team together at the last minute to get it done. So I'm not a Hampton fan. And I like this. I like the green and gold. And I think it's just a good spot when you've got a terrible team in Hampton. The challenge is going to be William and Mary and their road losing record. Yeah, you said 6 this season. They got 2 more going into last season. But I just think this is that opportunity for a team that, has run into the buzzsaw a little bit. Elon was a big game out there for them. They were laying 4. Elon's been a team that's come up with some sneaky wins, and they win that game by 7. Then they go out there and they get waxed by Drexel. And not to be, no surprise there. The surprise was that they were only getting 7 points against Drexel. I guess that's because they were at home, but Drexel's that good. And I think, you play a tough team, you come back out there against a shit team, you've had a week to think about it, time to put boots to ass.
William and Mary minus 123. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it, but a lot of this makes a ton of sense. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern. Michigan Wolverines 6-9, 1-3 in the Big Ten. And Maryland Terrapins, Terps 9-6, 1-3 in the Big Ten. We're Xfinity Center in College Park, Maryland, and we have correlated action here with Mikey Money and Joseph Thompson. Second best bet on the board for Joseph Thompson is also the look that Mikey's on. Let's set this up. Michigan coming off of 4 straight losses. We last saw them on Sunday. Both these teams lost on Sunday. 4 straight losses for Michigan, 2 straight losses for the Terps. Michigan lost to Penn State. Michigan 3.5-point favorites. They were up 37-27 at the break and then got completely outclassed in the second half, which was pretty jarring. Maryland on Sunday losing at Minnesota 65-62. They had played Purdue before, losing by 14 at home. They lost 65-62 to Minnesota. It was basically a pick 'em, but Minnesota had lost 10 straight basketball games, but still were able to beat Maryland. That's the situation. Rest break similar for both squads. Let's get into the line history here. One more game after this before we get into NBA. And, of course, we have the Paris game in 46 minutes. We'll have lots of time to discuss it with our guy, Darryl, who's ready to rock for us. What's going on?
I was just saying over. We're talking about Paris.
Oh, Paris game. Sorry, I thought it was your O face, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't hear the ver. All right, here we go. Michigan, Maryland. We have a big move towards these Terps. A huge move. Open up at 3.5, go to 4.5, then get to 6. 2.5 point move to the Terps. Huge move to them. To a team that just lost to a team that had lost 10 straight. From a total scenario, we're sitting at 139.5. This opened at 140. Oh, it's gone up. This is going up. It just moved 1.5 to the over 3 minutes ago. Yep. This just went from 140 to 141.5 3 minutes ago at BetOnline. That we hadn't seen a move. Now we have. Let's get over to the cash flow here for this one. 85% of the tickets and 91% of cash on the under. 85 and 91 on the under. On the spread, 62% tickets, 88% cash on the Terps. And we have Joe T's second best bet on the board, the over. Mikey Money, take it away, Wolverines, Terps.
Yeah, I'm just looking to make sure that this number refreshed properly because I still see a 139 at Caesars, and they may be late to the party with this line movement. So I'm nope, it's 140.5 now. Yeah, significant movement. Look, I'm not going to come on here and give you guys a play that's going to be altered by 1 or 2 points for me. So I come in here, I want to look for I always talk to you guys about the margin. Specifically because I think that has to correlate back to where we're at when it comes to the game flow and the projection here. And this projection is around a 10-point spot against that 138. So we're still comfortably in the window of where we should be. This game projects out to be 77 to 78 type of spot for me, which is going to put us well over that, 150 mark overall. The numbers that I'm referencing here, there's a couple teams that I track and you look back at how they performed when they come off of a specific spot there. A Minnesota team, and there's a group that kind of fall into this Minnesota bucket. They kind of play that physical, grind you down type of game. And when you're playing a team like that, the next game ends up coming over. So you've got that kind of guys in your face, pushing you off your lines, making you change your shooting position. And those games kind of, you falter and you fail. And if you need evidence in that, then just take a peek at what happened with Maryland in that game. You talked about it already. They lost outright 65-62. They were in Minnesota's barn as well, so they traveled back home now. And it's 9-2 to the over. Going over, again, by almost 10 points on that spread. If you look at Michigan and you want to kind of break down the details, this is a wide team. They're wide in the fact that they're averaging 81.7 points per game. They're one of the top teams in the country at 48.1% shooting. They're 71.1% when they do draw and take fouls at the charity stripe. And again, 4 double-digit scores on the season. I say 4. It's really like 4 in an honorable mention. Doug McDaniel, 17.8 points a game. Oliver, I can't say his last name, 16.8 points a game. Then you look down the line, the Terrence Williams, 12.7 points a game. And then Nimari Burnett, 10.3 points a game. The honorable mentions, Terrace Reed at 8.3 points a game. You got 5 dudes that are out there putting up 10 plus each game. And some of them are getting close to that 20 spot here. In his trend that I think goes over in this spot, look at who Michigan's been putting up there against. 160 points in their last 10 opportunities that they've gone out there and faced teams like this. And, when you look at it, last 10 games, they played Michigan. Michigan plays Penn State. They score 73. They get 71 against Minnesota, 76 against McNeese, 101 against the Florida team that's kind of shit the bed yesterday. Not kind of, but did shit the bed yesterday. 83 against Eastern Michigan and 90 against an Iowa team. We just need Maryland to put some points on the board. It doesn't even have to be a lot of points. Just, let Michigan get their 80 and let's get a 65 spot, 62 against Minnesota, 53 against Purdue, but Purdue, number 1 rank in the nation, 75 against Coppin, 60 against UCLA, 67 against Nicholls State. I think we can get there. I think, you look at this Big Ten thing on the season, you want to know what Big Tens are doing right now, the Big Ten Conference to the over, 73 and 58 on the season. The average total line, and this is where I'll talk to you guys again and say, I'm not going to come in here and give you something that moves a point, and then I got to scrub it from the card. I'm looking at this thing saying 146 total in those games in the Big Ten this year. That's the average line we're seeing 146. So we're still under that number. We see it going over by double digits. And Maryland, here's the thing with this game. Maryland's won 21 games at the Xfinity Center against non-ranked opponents. They're going to come out there and win this game. It's going to be because they have to score. They're going to have to get themselves 75. And if they get 75 and we pick up a 70 spot from Michigan, going 11 points under their total, we're still cruising on this over. So I'm all over this Maryland over. Give it to me. 140.5 is the best number I saw at -110.
Yeah, I saw that too, over 140.5. Matty Ice saying McDaniel suspended, no point guard for Michigan. I wonder, Matty Ice, does that, and that's obviously why there was that huge move to Maryland. Would that, Matty Ice, make you more interested in just the Terps team total over?
I think Michigan wins this game, by the way. Straight up fucking money line spot here. Puts the boots to the ass. The Big Ten spot for Michigan's a huge rebound rate. I've got a trend at 72% for Michigan to get done. I just think the better spot here is for Michigan to Maryland to go over the total.
Despite their point guard.
Despite. They give a shit.
I love it. Okay. All right. Okay. The final game on the board in college basketball before we get into NBA, we go back to the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois. We've already set this all up. Michigan State Spartans at Illinois fighting Illini. Daby Cab wanting to return for this one. We already heard Dave Rogers on Illinois -3. Let's get Daby Cab back in here for us on this one. And we have, welcome back, Daby. We have Michigan State Spartans, Illinois fighting Illini. Take it away, Mikey Money, our last game on the board.
Yeah, it's so great to hear, the transformation, right? It's all about development and helping teach people how to fish. It's so great to hear guys that come in and say, hey, listen, the injuries don't matter and the spread's adjusted accordingly. I love hearing that. It's refreshing, and I'm not going to be on the other side of our last guy now. He's heard it from me enough, and it makes a ton of sense here with this Illinois spot. I love the fact that the number's running down on top of it. When you look at this thing, I talked about this before, and I think this is a tough spot where the books can't figure out exactly how many points some of these players are worth. And I think in this case here, it's just shown it hasn't made a difference when you start looking at Terrence Shannon Jr. Yeah, what happens? They lose to Purdue. That's the number 1 team in the nation. They can take a lumping at Purdue on the road, right? So you look at this thing with at Purdue, 83-78. They were getting 10 points. They still covered. They were getting blasted in that first half by 15 points, and they came back. They had a 46-point second half performance against the number 1 team in the nation. Illinois won 6 in a row at home, 5 big first half covers in a row at home as well, or 5 big first half wins in a row. And it's a spot where this is that proverbial bounce back. They whoop the shit out of Colgate. They tear down Mizzou 97-73 in their own barn, took their own cheerleaders home with them. They whacked down FDU 104-71, Northwestern. I reference these games because these are the games where I was like, wow, there's Terrence Shannon's out. I mean, he's got to be a big factor in this thing. But what's happened here is Coleman Hawkins stepped up on defense. Illinois, here's the biggest difference for me in this game. Illinois, top 15 points per possession. They're effective at getting the job done when the ball hits their hands. And the Spartans, sub top 100 team in turnovers, telling me that they're middle of the pack at creating opportunities where they take the ball out of their hands. And we know Illinois is putting the ball in the hoop when it gets in their hands. So bad matchup spot out there for them. Illinois, 4 guys that are in double digits since those Terrence Shannon stepped out of the game. They spread the ball around. And what's great about this team is they've started shooting more 3 points, less 2 points since Terrence Shannon's been going out. They found a ton of success in that style game because they're a top 15 team in offensive rebounding, and they're a top 80 team in defensive rebounding. So those threes are going in, or they're getting the second chance points. The other team has to go down the court in desperation to try to match the wits with this team. And what's happening is they're coming in there. They're in the paint. They're throwing elbows. They're taking the second chance opportunities away from teams, in this case, like Michigan State. I love the Illinois spot. The line keeps falling. That's even better. -2.5. Let's go. -3 is probably just fine. -3 is fine for me.
Yeah, because we can't get the 2.5 at -110. So, but we can get -3 at -110 unless anyone can beat that. That's what we gave Dave. Let's hear what Daby Cab has to say. First off, just very quickly, Raven in the Desert back in action with us. Raven in the Desert supported Pete and I when we were down in Costa Rica from my very first shows. We've missed you. Great college basketball capper, man. He's money in the bank. Just outside of Vegas, Raven in the Desert rolling with us. It's so great to have you back, Raven in the Desert. Take it away, Daby Cab. What do you think of this spot? Spartans, Illini, Dave, and Mikey on Illinois.
I know it's hard to find in college basketball sometimes, so if you don't have it, no worries. But do you have the money on the spread in front of you?
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I'm only seeing Illinois and I'm only hearing Illinois, and I'm leaning that way too, and I'll get into it. I'm just really curious about the money on this one.
Yeah, for the spread, 52% of the tickets on Michigan State and 72% of the cash on Michigan State.
What?
So
Okay.
the line is moving correctly according to the bigger bets coming on Michigan State. It's moving slightly towards Illinois at this point because there's only 5,018 tickets in.
Okay, that was I like what I just heard there. Mike did a good job breaking this down here.
Thanks, Dad.
It's a size. Yeah, no, you really did. It's a size advantage. Illinois is going to shoot more threes, and they're going to have the big guys in the paint to get it. Another thing here, Illinois is going to be attacking the rim where they shoot 69 or 66.9% of the they make 66.9% of their shots. Michigan State's interior defense is stout, but I do not think that it's going to stand up against these Illinois bigs. You look at the Spartans, you got Hogard, you got Tyson Walker, you've got some good players across the board on their team, but they just have not put it together this year. I will say one thing is I was on Baylor against Michigan State and got absolutely routed. So that's kind of in the back of my mind here, but I'm thinking I'm not going to let it keep me off Illinois because like I said, this Illinois team, if you look at them, you kind of touch on Hawkins just a little bit, but Coleman Hawkins, I just want to say this, he might be one of the best defenders in the nation, literally in all of college basketball. He's one of the few people who can match up against somebody like Zach Edey and then also jump out on a guard like Tyson Walker, who he's going to see tonight for Michigan State. He's absolutely outstanding. And touching on with Shannon being out, like you were saying, Illinois has been incredibly balanced since he's been out of the game. They have 4 different players who are still putting up double digits in those games since he's been out. So if you got 4 people putting up points, I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt to lose a player like that. Of course you want him on the court, but they're able to move the ball around. They're able to score without him. And this comes back to what Mike was saying. Illinois shoots more threes than they do twos. They literally shoot threes more. And then you look, Michigan State, they give up a lot of open threes. Their open three rate is not that good. They give up a lot of quality open looks. And then we come down into the paint, and I think Illinois is going to control this paint. Illinois is top 15 in offensive rebounding. They're top 80 in defensive rebounding. Michigan State's nowhere close to that. I think Illinois is going to control this game on the glass. I think they're going to have putback opportunities. I think they're going to take threes, and if they miss them, they're going to get another shot in the paint, which – that's not a recipe for success. So I'll say this one more time. I think Illinois has got the size mismatch here at pretty much every position on the court. I really do. I think they're mismatched at every position on the court size-wise. And I just don't think Michigan State's going to be able to contend with that. They only got a few players on Michigan State that are over 6'6". And then you look at Illinois, they have 6 players that are over that size. It's just a huge size difference in these two teams. So I like Illinois a lot here too. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm probably going to be there.
Do you
want the other thing I look at with these numbers here? So we see this Michigan State number, 51% of the bet, 72% of the cash on the Michigan State side of things, and it's fallen a half a point. Now 2.5 points from the 2 points from the opening, whatever that number comes down to. How do you correlate that, or what does that look like? To me, that looks like a bunch of public guys coming in there saying, "Oh, they're still thinking about the player that's out, and they're jumping in and they're kind of chasing the steam." And if you want a validation point there, 71% of the bets, 56% of the cash on the Illinois money line. It's moved 20 cents in that favor. It's moved almost 40 cents against Michigan State now. So everybody's pounding in on that 4, dropping it down to 2.5. But you got almost a 40-cent move from a plus 114 to a plus 152. Only 29% of the bets and 44% of the cash on the money line itself. So it tells me that they're concerned that it might be too many points for Illinois. They're factoring in that injury, over-factoring in that injury, but they don't think Illinois is going to win the game outright. And now we're getting into that sunset region with that 2.5 points where it comes down to a bucket and a free throw. And I think it's just a bad spot for Michigan State.
I do. I really do too. They're mismatched. They're outmatched on the court.
You guys are, but Daby Cab, are you making this official?
Can I still make it official as long as I give it to you before the tip?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, just tweet it out and tag me. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take it off right now. All right, that is our college basketball action here. We're going to head into NBA. Let's review all college basketball action. Taint play of the day from Matty Ice, St. Thomas -1.5. The Stacks play of the day from Justin McKelvey, Greensboro +4. Then we have from Joe T. Joe T has given us, sorry, I thought it was right here. Sorry, it's right up here. Joe T, best bet for Joe T, Texas State, Arkansas State over 144.5. His second best bet, Michigan, Maryland over 139.5. Daby Cab gave us FAU first half -3.5, -114. I'm going to look at Stony Brook a little more. I'm very interested in backing Stony Brook and fading Towson's 50% from 3 last game. Stony Brook, Towson over 128.5, -108 for Dave. He's on Utah Valley +3. I understand why numbers would say that UT Arlington shouldn't be bet here. They haven't played. They played more road games than home games this year, and they haven't played at home since November 29th, and they played tough competition. That has me leaning on the other side, but I'm going to look at it a little more before I move on it. And then Illinois -3, -110 for Dave. Mikey Money, Tulane +8. William and Mary Moneyline -123. The over 140.5 Michigan, Maryland, and Illinois -3. I'm interested in the Maryland team total over in that one, or the over. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on that. And that is our college basketball breakdowns. Daby, great work. Mikey Money, kill it today on Last Call. Daby, before we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Mikey Money. Daby, any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Man, you guys, do us a favor. Bring a friend in here. Bring your grandma. Bring your weed dealer. Bring somebody in here. Let's grow this show, man. We don't have it without you guys. So shout out to you guys, man. Matty, glad the cancer's gone, man. That's awesome news. Mike, VPs, Billy, everybody, man. You guys. This is family. This is fun. This is making money. This is living life with you guys. So shout out to all you guys. We love you. See you guys at Pubapalooza 3.
Respect. There he is. Dabra Cadabra. Mikey Money, any last words before your big Last Call show at 6 p.m. this evening?
Yeah, man, Jimmy, thanks for the opportunity, and shout out to everybody in the chat. Bunch of loyal listeners for all the years running here. If you haven't gotten in the green, go out there, become a member of Pub Sports. Help us grow this thing one member at a time. If you're not green yet, it's on you to help us grow now. I'm pointing the finger out there, but look, we're having a lot of fun doing this stuff. We're giving you guys our own bets. And the big thing about this here, Last Call, 6 p.m. news show. We've been talking about it now. We're several months deep here. And I said this earlier. We're getting to that point of the season where we're going to start to get that maturity in the market with the analytics and the databases here. We're seeing it come to fruition. We're now almost 10 and a half units up this week through the first 3 days of the show. All 1 unit bets, none of that fuckery where we're doing 2 or 3 spots here and there. And I think, in fact, on the entire season, there's 1 half unit bet, and that was a big double ladder spot there that we took a shot on. So everything's 1 unit. We're clicking on all cylinders right now, and it's just from the tutelage of the Jimmy the Bag Vine here to look at this market analytics and analyze this opportunity to cash them tickets. So I'll see everybody tonight at 6 p.m. Again, thanks, Jimmy, for the opportunity. Shout out to Dave, Daby, Ramon there, reverse sweep Ramon, and the gang, Gogster, everybody getting it done out there. Pub Sports Radio, man. Thanks again, Jimmy. I'll see you soon.
Respect, Mikey. There he is, Mikey Money. All right, it is time to get to NBA. Not only do we have our perfect guest who swept the board with Jamal Murray props last week, and I added the Jaquez prop that he had added that I had missed. Now 19 and 14, 57.6% plus 3.7 units. His ROI back into double digits, plus 11.21%, average line -103. But we have Billy Brisbane and Dutch Boy Fresh in the chat. So the squad is coming together. We have 5 games in NBA, and 1 game pops off in 27 minutes, the Paris NBA game. Without further ado, please welcome the star of Thursday's NBA breakdowns on Betting with the Bag. We head to Los Angeles, California, and I'm going to finally have the chance to hang out with him in person in San Antonio, Pubapalooza 3, which I'm very excited about. Please welcome our guy and yours, Mr. Darryl Rice, to the show. Darryl, what's good?
Yo, what's good, brother? Happy Thursday to you, man. Happy Thursday. It's good to be back talking ball. And finally got the sweep, man. I was looking for a sweep. Finally got that. Finally. So anybody tell me on that Jamal ladder, yeah, shout out to you, man. We feasted pretty good. And I'm glad you were able to get that bet in for fucking
Jaime
Jaquez. I don't know how you say it. But yeah, Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So yeah, man, good to be back. As I always say, Jay, any day on this side of the grass is a
It's a good day, my man. It's a good day.
day,
Kelly
bro.
McInnes already says, "I don't give a fucking shit." I don't- what the motherfucking spread is. That's the to the M in there. They're ready to rock.
Yeah.
They're ready to rock.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get after
Yeah,
it.
that's
2-2 day for me in
Yeah.
NBA yesterday. Lost one in overtime when Tyrese Maxey went out, and then was fortunate to get the Bulls in overtime. So it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I'm not running the way I want to be running. Billy Briz says Dinwiddie questionable with an illness. They have not confirmed Brooklyn's lineup still. It must be because of Dinwiddie. Cleveland's lineup is confirmed. Let's get into game one right now as it pops off here in 25 short minutes. To lead us into this game, let's talk about what our guy Dan Kelly says, and it's important. Con Clips, we've all really loved capping with you, man. You bring so much passion and fun to the game. You're a huge, huge asset to the squad, man. We love it. We love capping with you. You're a big, big addition to the squad, my man. So let's talk. Piker says Phoenix money line and Celtics +5, but let's let Dan Kelly lead us into NBA Paris game in Accor Arena. He says this. He says, and this is the fun about having guys like Dan in the chat. Dan says, there have been 16 neutral site NBA regular season games since 2017, 2018. Mexico City, Paris, London. The favorite.
Abu Dhabi, I believe, Mexico City, and then, Paris.
There it is. The favorite is 2-12-2 against the spread. 2-12-2. Now, the concern would be on Dinwiddie. Mikey M is on Brooklyn. But I'd like to give a shout out to Dan Kelly here quickly. I love that he knows the importance of sharing this. He also says first quarters at neutral site games in the NBA go under. And there he is. He's watching the Nets pregame show right now. The players are all talking about the food in Paris. Shout out to Dan Kelly.
Naysayers.
Here we go. Paris. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. This game popping off in 23 short minutes. We still have time to bet. Let me just set the table for you, Darryl, and then have you roll with it. Cleveland -3.5 at -115 right now. There's been a half-point move towards the Cavaliers. From a total perspective, we are sitting here at 221.5. This is dropped from 226. The initial move was also actually no, the initial move was to the under, but then it got up to 226.5. So we have a huge move to the under. Mikey Money already liking the over. And when we get to the cash flow here, we have let me move over to NBA. For the cash flow here, 92% of tickets and 93% of cash on the Cavs. God, that's a lot of money on the Cavs. Half point move towards them. 52% of tickets, 87% of cash on the over. Darryl, take it away. The NBA Global Series in effect.
It just feels like a Cavs spot regardless, right? They both had equal rest. And when you're just looking at team versus team, even without, I believe you have Mobley not playing, and then you have Darius Garland not playing, right? Even without these players, man, I still feel that the Cavs are still the better squad, without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's my opinion on it. What scares me is the money and the fact that we're not seeing a huge jump and the fact that this line is as short as it is. They played October 25th. That game was 114 Cleveland, 113 Brooklyn. And I believe that line was 1. I believe so. I believe that line was short also. 1.5. I can't get a side here. I really can't. I because one thing is it feels like it's too easy. It feels like it's way too easy. And that should be just put your money on Cleveland. Don't even think about it. What I decided to do is because you are in Paris, I'm going with the fact that Donovan Mitchell may just have a game. If you're talking about someone who is very precise, very strict about his routine, very strict about his diet, doesn't toe the line when it comes to like exploring things and shit like that. He's a very, very regimented person. That's Donovan Mitchell. You saw that in the bubble when a lot of people actually kind of laughed at how regimented he is and how strict and precise he is when it comes to his game day routine and even preparing for the game leading up to it. So I'm going to go with Donovan Mitchell here. I think this guy is going to have a game. Donovan Mitchell points at 27.5 is juiced to the over, but I believe the Cavs side is very, very easy. Something's just very tricky about that. And I'm glad that Dan actually had that stat up that the faves are 2-12 ATS. So I really think this is a game that Jared Allen can get off on, but also Donovan Mitchell. That's the guy I'm looking at today. Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points. Jump on that now. I'm pretty confident with his points.
Wow. It's a very telling line here. Pinnacle has it at 26.5 at -188. And there's no alternate lines.
Oh, really? Yeah.
They don't
I
want
got
you to
27.5. They don't want you to play it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 27.5, and I got that at -121.
Okay, I'll see if we can beat that. Oh man, I can't get Crooklyn Dodgers out of my head now. That the ding in that song? Did it like that? Now we do it like this. Ding, ding. Okay. Locked in here. Mitchell over 27.5 at -121. And you know, with all the information here on the favorites not covering at home, you know, Dan did bet the Cavs yesterday at -3. I think that's very telling.
Yeah. So Dan did he still took the favorites even after that stat with them being 2-12 ATS.
Oh man, Timmy Two Shoes. It's one of the best nicknames that have been around. Timmy Two Shoes.
I'm looking at that like this is definitely a Cavs spot, but I just it's weird because some of these games have almost been too easy. We saw that with the Timberwolves in Houston. That was -3.5. We've seen that with a couple Boston games. So this one just seems very, very easy. I don't know. It seems too good to be true. And I just can't take the bait. But this should be a no-brainer where you just take the Cavs and don't even think about it. But I'm not. I'm going to take the points. I do like Donovan's points.
I think everything's real conflicting here. You have this huge move to the under, and Mikey Money saying it's gone too far, taking the over. I get it. Mm-hmm. You have this record of these faves not covering, but one is being legitimate and one hasn't. And even with that statistical information, Dan Kelly's not moving on the net. So I'm going to stay off of this spot. Wine time on the Nets money line at +140. Brent Cook says that 2-12 stat is nasty. Dan Kelly has given us an SGP, Okoro over 7.5 points and Allen over 2.5 assists. That pays at -105. I hope you guys all enjoy the game. It pops off in 17 minutes.
Yeah. Jay, do you have a number at all for Sam Merrill and his threes?
Let's find out. Let's find out here.
Can anybody find a number in the chat for Sam Merrill and his threes?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, yes.
This guy.
I do. Yes,
really?
I do. Yes, over 2.5 threes at +102.
Give me that. This is for the show. If you can find it, give me that.
I can. Let me just see if Bet365 would be offering it as well. But yes, it's offered 9.5 points is Merrill over at Pinnacle. So let's just quickly see.
Yeah, +1. Yeah.
Yep.
This guy's shooting threes at a almost 45% clip with limited time on the court. But now you don't have set players in there. I'm jumping on Sam Merrill. Give me Sam Merrill over 2.5 threes at plus money. And if that's the case, I mean, that 9.5 points is telling. It's telling. So I like Sam Merrill. I'm going to make that play right now because I do have him up here.
It's -115 at 365, +102 at Pinnacle. What are you getting?
Mine is Sam Merrill minus 108. I'm jumping on that. Sam Merrill at least 2.5 threes at minus 108. I'm jumping on that right now.
Caddies on Mitchell 25 or more. Johnson over 15.5 at plus 160.
Those are the two plays. Sam Merrill over 2.5 threes. I just stepped on, and Donovan Mitchell 27.5 points.
All right. We are locked and loaded. Let's roll on. Next up for us, we had 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We talked about this game yesterday a little bit. Boston Celtics got through Minnesota in overtime, 127-120 Celtics, but they covered the first quarter, which I came very close to moving on, and I didn't. They did not cover the half. Celtics 29-8, 11-8 on the road. The Milwaukee Bucks 25-12, 16-4 at home. We're at Pfizer Forum. Boston 3-2 over their past 5. One thing that I've added here, and I'm going to start adding more because I feel like we're deep enough in, is just, what the team's doing from 3 over the last 5 games. And I'm going to add field goal. I'm going to start adding more things over this last 5 game stat that I've been dropping. But here, Boston 3-2, playing the pace of 101.29 possessions in the game. That's good for 10th in the NBA. And they've hit 39.6% of their threes over the last 5 games. Milwaukee 1-4, playing the pace of 102.80 possessions a game. That's 4th fastest in the NBA. We've talked about the pace slowing down across the board. 34.3% from 3. Let's get into the line history and the situation. Is anybody going to be sitting for Boston? We know that Horford is out. At that point, that's it listed. Crowder out for Milwaukee, paying a game time decision. We know that the trade or, bringing in, the trade for Drew being over in Boston, it really adds an element of excitement when these two teams play. Let's get into the line history here. We'll start with the spread. From a spread perspective, you have these Bucks minus 3.5 at minus 102. There's even 3s out there, and there's 4.5s. This opened up minus 5.5. So it had a real big move towards the Celtics. Now 3. Now it's a 3. Wow.
What does that tell you, Jimmy? That tells me somebody else is going to play.
So that tells
me tells me that probably Tatum and Brown Brown goes again with Porzingis.
Oh yeah, without a doubt that they're taking this seriously. This total is open up at 241. It's up to 244. I mean, that guarantees it. I shouldn't say guarantees it, but it makes it very likely. Then we have 70% of the tickets, 93% of cash on the over. So the gamblers think they're going to be in. And then 39% of tickets and 73% of cash on the Boston Celtics. Wow. This is wild. So Celtics on the second half of a back-to-back after that 127-120 overtime victory yesterday. And the Bucks now have been off since Monday. They lost to Utah 132-116. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. And the one game they won, they barely won that one. Beat the Spurs by 4, and that was on the second half of a back-to-back. Very, very interesting. Piker says that Porzingis is definitely in, and BJ's best bet. BJ's best bet is in, and I thought I know I copied and pasted. Let me just see where I have it here. I don't know where I copied and pasted, but somewhere here on my worksheet, I know it'll come up here. But BJ's best bet is in. I thought I put it under NBA. I must not have, and I apologize for that because we all want to know what BJ. Oh, here it is. It says another. He hasn't lost since Sunday. BJ right now. NBA best bet: Bucks money line for 5 units and Knicks money line for 5 units. So we'll go over all of that. But there we go. So BJ on the Bucks, but Brent Cook sees a Celtics winning by 9-point spot. Very interesting. Wow. Take it away for us here. Maybe you could provide some insight and highlight a spot to gamble with. Celtics Bucks.
There's really good information going on in the chat right now about how speculation of different players, primarily Dame, and Wine Time Sports hit the nail on the head. I don't know what's wrong with Dame. I don't know what's wrong with him. But this team is absolutely atrocious, especially on defense. But that isn't a surprise. We all knew by giving up Drew Holiday that you're going to lose a lot of defense. But the amount of defense that's been lost now without Holiday is just ridiculous. So the only way I can attack this game, honestly, again, is through the prop market, because You still don't know who's going to sit. You were speculating how these lines are moving, that Boston's going to play Tatum and or Brown, which is kind of, well, it's not crazy, but these guys just came off an overtime game where they both played 40-plus minutes in that game. So you would think they would sit out, but no. Missoula right now is saying we're going to win this game as well. So if you have Tatum and or Brown, then this does look like it should be a Boston spot. I can't get past the point that Milwaukee really needs to get a win, and the fact that they are at home, they need to get their shit together. This is a must-win game. But this is what I do like. I like the fact that on these back-to-backs, Missoula will alternate the stars. We do have to say Porzingis is a great fit here for the squad, and I like Porzingis tonight in his points. So he put up 21 last game against Milwaukee that Boston did win, and I'm just going to go back to the board with the points. Kristaps Porzingis over 20.5 points is where I got it at. This is the scary thing. It wasn't a large play for me, but this is scary, and this kind of correlates with how we're suggesting if a player may either sit or start. When I went to go place the bet was placed at minus 130. The second that I went to take the bet, it moved to minus 121 also.
Well,
So
it's gone even lower. It's at 19.5 now.
Yeah. So is that night? Yeah. So that's kind of scary. It's moving the wrong way. But then that also, since I've made the bet and I've already even posted it, I just got to share that. So I'll be transparent with you. So it isn't my favorite play on the board, but the fact that the line did, or the number did go down some, and now we're looking at a completely different number. I don't like that movement on it. But what that also suggests is that probably both of the stars are playing tonight. So take that as you will. It barely hit over 20, but I got it at 20.5. I don't, it might be one of those things where I probably want to hedge out of it. I'm not sure. But for right now, that is the play I made. So I've got to stick by it since I've already made that play and posted it. I've got Porzingis over 20.5 points.
Yeah, it's 19.5 at minus 118 right now at Pinnacle. Over 20.5 for Porzingis. Here it's pretty clear from the marketplace that the only move is to back
Boston.
Yeah. I wonder if I should do it as well. I guess I should. I guess it's I guess the issues that the Bucks are having are real. Very, very real. Now it's interesting. There's my guy Loopy in the house. What up, Loopy? I guess the issues with that the Bucks are having are real. Now it's interesting that Troy brought up that looks like there's some big sharp action on the money line for the Bucks, but that sharp money on the spread for the Celtics. And then now it's a priority to get the best number available because it's all over the map here right now. The 3 down to a 3 at Pinnacle. If that's true, there's still a 4.5 in my book. I don't know if it's true. Let me just refresh this and see if it is.
I'm looking now. They're all 3s. Where what I see in my books. So it's gone down. Bookmaker
just moved it to 2.
Sheesh. Are you shitting me?
Pinnacle just moved it to 2.
Yeah, everybody's playing. Everybody's playing. You're right. Everybody's playing at that point. No one's sitting.
Okay, it's too late for me. I gotta bounce out here. All right. Let's roll on. Let's roll on. Okay, next up for us. So that was Celtics Bucks. Porzingis over 20.5 for Darryl. I missed this spot. I should have grabbed it at 4 or 4.5 or something like that.
You missed the spot, and I rushed it because I just knew that somebody was going to be sitting. So, but I just have to be transparent here. I've already made that play. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I respect that. Wine Time says there's a sharp that he personally knows it's on the Bucks money line heavy on this one. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 8 p.m. Eastern. Portland Trailblazers 10-26, 5-15 on the road at Oklahoma City Thunder. 25-11, 14-5 at home. We're at Paycom in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Portland 1-4 over their past 5, playing at the 11th fastest pace in the league, 101.19 possessions a game. And shooting very poorly from three, 33.9% from three over their last 5 games. The very opposite could be said about Oklahoma City, 43.5% from three. We talked about their shooting exploits on Wednesday's show. I believe it was yesterday's show. Was it yesterday's show? We talked about just how impressive their shooting has been. And yes, it was when we were talking about the Miami game, which they pulled out a really comfortable victory. Dutch Boy Fresh gave us the Thunder -4.5, and he caught it and cashed it. They had played 4 straight games on the road and now have to rush home to play the worst team, or one of the worst teams in the league. Now, not as bad as the Wizards or the Pistons or the Spurs, but 10-26, 5-15 on the road, and coming off a loss 112-84 to the Knicks on Tuesday. So we do have a rest advantage here for these Portland Trailblazers against the Thunder, who've been traveling and on the second half of a back-to-back. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Pinnacle sitting right now at 13. That's exactly where it opened. 13. It's actually been a 3-cent move to Portland at this number. Yeah. And then when we take a look at the total here for this one, 2 games left after this one. 235.5 is the total. This has come up from 233. And then when we get to the cash flow for this one here, let me go to all markets, make it a little easier. We have 41% of tickets and 89% of cash on the Portland Trailblazers, 63% of tickets and 97% cash on the over. Interesting spot. Take it away for us here. Let me just go over the expected situation. OKC expected to roll everybody. Bertans is a game time decision, and Ayton a game time decision for the Blazers. Take it away for us, Daryl. Blazers at Thunder.
I was listening to a pod that said basically you could take Portland's team totals under and just go to sleep and wake up with money in your bank. So I had to look at the numbers here. Right now, Portland's second to last in total points scored. They're averaging 108 a game. Last game, they had 84 points. Last 3, they're at 107. Away, when they are away, Portland's averaging 106. And right now, we're getting 111.5 against OKC. So why is that number so high? Well, number so high, maybe because OKC is allowing an average of 114. Last one was 120. Last 3, it's been 124. Been some high-scoring games on OKC side. So if I'm looking at this, it does make sense. But at the same time, Miami put up 120. Washington put up 128. Brooklyn put up 124. Atlanta put up 138. These are all better teams than Portland. Maybe for the exception of Washington. I don't know. So I wanted to challenge that theory, and 111.5 seems kind of high, but I don't want to touch it. So at the same token, it just this has blowout written all over it when you have a line at 13, 14, right? So will Portland get to the century mark? I'm not sure. So for right now, it's a no play for me on this game. I can't look at a line that high. Maybe look at this early to cut the points down. But for right now, no play for me on this game at all. I'll look more into that team total and see which direction I want to go. But right now, nothing for me.
It's an interesting way of looking at it. Portland team total. It's at 111.5 right now at 365. You can get better numbers around, but it's an interesting way of looking at it. I wonder what the best way to handle the Blazers is here, because it feels like they're sharp. I'm going to be on Blazers in some form or another. I just don't know exactly how to do it, and there's no possible double up. So would it be? I think that we want the Blazers for all 4 quarters in this one, despite the Thunder obviously with a skill advantage. Blazers sitting, in Oklahoma after that, loss to New York. That was on the heels of that overtime win against Brooklyn. The Thunder have no reason to get up for this basketball game. So does that mean you want the Blazers early or the team total over? I'm going to do some more work, but the Blazers are going to be on my card in some form or another. Let's move on. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, New York Knicks 22-15, 11-11 on the road at the Dallas Mavericks, 22-16, 11-8 at home at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. The Knicks are rolling right now.
Yeah.
They're rolling.
Yeah.
OG has found his spot.
Yeah, he has.
Not Flush, very excited to see you, as always, Daryl. Very excited to see you. I think he gets more excited when the Lakers are struggling. When the Lakers are rolling, he wasn't too excited to see you when they won the in-season tournament.
Yeah, well, these last 2 games they've done pretty good. So yeah.
Well, they got a lot of help.
Oh, come on, bro.
Knicks
Man.
over the past 5 games playing at the 25th fastest pace in the NBA, 97.7 possessions a game, and 39.1% from 3 over these 5 games. So they're hitting nice from outside. Dallas 3-2 over the past 5, playing at the 7th fastest pace in the NBA, 101.9 possessions a game, hitting 37.1% from 3 over their last 5 games. Sitting here with Dallas as 4-point dogs. 4-point home dogs for these Mavericks. Luka out. Dante Exum out. Derek Lively game time decision. Oh, you think Lively's out?
I think he's out, bro. I think Lively's out.
Grant Williams. You think he's out?
Yeah, everybody else is going to play. Everybody else is playing.
Williams, Kleber, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is come on, man. I get you. Did you set it up already? You want my expert analysis on this? You want my expert analysis on this here?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You sure you want to hear this?
Oh, yeah.
Give me Knicks full game minus. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
Ooh, we have the Knicks right now opened up at -3.5. Last night, 6:55 p.m. So the lines moved a half. So this is interesting. This moved to the Mavericks.
It did.
Sorry. At first it moved to the Mavericks, but then it came back to the Knicks. The Knicks were 4.5-point favorites at 7 this morning, and then it moves back to the Mavs at 7 this morning, 3.5. We're sitting here with just a half-point move towards these Knicks. Half-point move towards these Knicks, and 84% of tickets and 81% of cash are on them. 67% of tickets, 61% cash on the over. Fascinating. Talk to us more about your bullishness.
Yeah, I just have to do it because of how they're looking after these trades, right? These guys are just they're 5-0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5-0, and that's against many Chicago, Philly, Washington, and Portland. Okay, got it. But they're 5-0 ATS also. These guys are steamrolling teams right now, and the last thing you want to be is a team that's not at full strength, and that's what you have in Dallas right now. Another pod I was listening to was a great angle, and that is probably digging a little deeper, but look at Dwight Powell going under his PRA. I believe it's 17.5, because he does a lot of work with Luka on the court. And with Luka not there, you just know Kyrie's going to go off. Williams might give you a little bit of a burst too, but I just honestly feel you remember we talked about getting to the parties late. You know what I'm saying? And some of these ships had sailed, and we missed the boat getting to the parties too late. And I think this is a prestige time really to really jump on the Knicks while it's early, because these guys are going to go on a little run. They're going to go on a little run now. Is five games considered too late? I don't know. I don't think so. I think as these games go on, these guys just start to gel a little more. I mean, honestly, 5 games in, and for them to kind of gel and mesh as good as they are right now, they honestly still don't know each other, right? You still got to have Randall kind of, acclimate himself to OG. A lot of players have to do that. You still have Brunson. In my opinion, I think it's a Jalen Brunson day, right? So he's seeing his old squad again, and he's always going to want to stick it to him. So I would look at Jalen Brunson props, which I'm going to dig in a little bit more. I'm going to look into that Dwight Powell under, but definitely the play for me right now. I got it last night at -3.5. I stepped on. I just money that I made. Yeah, so I stepped on the -3.5 yesterday, but I really think a good spot to look at also is Brunson and his PRA, and Dwight Powell going under his PRA.
Wow, wild. I'm gonna stay away from this spot here with the Mavs coming off the embarrassment. No Luka, and I get it. You know what Brizzy's saying with that, because this opened up a bet online at +1 for the Knicks. So it opens up at +1, and then there's the news that Luka is going to be out. They got that information at 5:49 p.m. yesterday, and there was a 4.5 point move. So with this roster, the way it is right now, not with the getting ahead of the Luka news, but with these two rosters without Luka in, it hasn't moved. So if you got in, at +1 or something like that. Oh, Loopy, that's on our website. You'll see. Just go to Pub Sports Radio and just come down. If it's a brand new account, it has to be a brand new account. And then you can't switch it over to poker. We're going to get a poker link up there for people who just want the account for poker, because you can't when you have the bonus going on, you can't switch back and forth from poker to sports. But it's right there, and you don't need Bitcoin. It's a straight cash, 100% bonus up to 1,000. All the other sites you have to use Bitcoin, but not ours. So I'm just going to stay away. Knicks -3.5. I completely get it. But I would like to see movement even after the rosters are set. And
really,
just for confidence, just for the way I do things. But Piker says belly shirt Brisbane speaks, and he thinks it's the best spot on the board. So
yeah, I like the Knicks. That's my top play today. Honestly, I really do like the Knicks.
And same with Ron. Spreadsheet play today, Knicks. It's a funny spot. You have a team that's coming off of a 28-point victory against a team that lost by 17 as favorites. It's just the NBA's tomfoolery. I don't know what the best way to makes me uncomfortable here.
Yeah.
Sammy asking what the market splits are for Boston, Milwaukee. Anything Sammy wants, we will stop everything for. We love you, Sammy. All the fight and hard work that you put into our squad. 39% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on the Celtics spread. On the money line, though, 37% of the tickets and 58% of the cash on the Bucks. So that's what Troy was talking about, the weird difference there. 74% of tickets, 93% cash on the over. Okay, let's roll on. And Dinwiddie is playing. Bridges points now at over 21.5. Double down for Alec Dirks. And look at this. Dan Kelly's using the confidence pool as a sacrifice to the betting gods by taking Houston for 13. Wow. That's good. That's crazy, Dan. That's wild.
Guys, okay,
wow,
bro.
Right? You know the guy's been in the game for a long time when he has to sacrifice to the gods.
Yes, he has to make a ritual sacrifice.
That's what it's come to, man. That's what it's come to. All right, and Rem Mosa's blind tail says, I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Billy Briz and Ron Crawford spreadsheet play. Easy tail.
We all on the same side. Yeah, that's good shit.
Oh, Billy Friedrich says, try joining the NFL playoff brackets. I couldn't do it at the site. When I click on the NFL bracket, it brings up the March Madness video.
User error.
Okay. I'll find that out, Billy, because we need you in it. I will mention that to our guy, Sean. I don't know why that's happening, but we'll get that fixed immediately. So here we go. So we have one final game here in NBA. I said there was two, but I was looking at the game that the college basketball game that Dave Rogers cut. So
Jimmy, real quick, Billy is right. Billy is right when he's talking about how this game is like Minnesota and Orlando. Very, very true. But I don't know if you're talking about Orlando or if it was Minnesota and Houston, because that line was -3.5, and everybody was kind of perplexed there because Houston's so good at home. But Minnesota smacked the shit out of them. It was like, wait a minute, why is this line 3.5? I don't know. I just kind of feel like that with New York also.
I feel you. Let's get to this final game on the board here. 10 p.m. Eastern. Phoenix Suns 19-18, 8-7 on the road. The LA Lakers 19-19, 13-6 at home. We're at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. Phoenix 2-3 over their past 5, playing at the 19th fastest pace in the league, 98.60%, and scoring 36.9% from 3. Lakers 2-3, 101.8 possessions a game, 8th in the league over that span, 32.9% from 3. Let's get into the line history. This has been a real interesting show today. The importance of capping really only related to the pain and the tough times that some of our guys have gone through over the last little while. And it's a really impactful show for me. This was very meaningful hearing people in the chat open up about the toughest moments that they've gone through over the last little while. I really, this show really impacted me. I find this really meaningful, and I'm really proud to be a part of this group. But let's get into the line history here for the final spot on the board. Lakers sitting here at -1, -104. That's where it opened, -1 at even money. So just a 4-cent move to the Lakers. From a total scenario here, we're sitting at a 238. It's opened up at 237. It's gone up a point to 238. We go over to the cash flow here for this spot. 77% of tickets and 86% of the cash on the Suns. It's a lot of money on the Suns and the line not moving. 69% of the tickets. Say what, my man?
Telling you something. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Oh, it sure is. 69% of tickets, 82% cash on the under. 69 and 82 on the under. What did that total do? Sorry, what did I say the total did? The total has gone up a point with all this money on the under. I can just stay away from that. But this is very, very appealing on these Lakers. You know, why would all this money be coming on Phoenix? So Phoenix coming off that loss to the Clippers, hanging out in LA. That loss was back on Monday. So the Suns have been in LA for too long. I would be a little uncomfortable with backing a team that's been in LA for that long.
Yeah.
The Lakers coming off their second straight win, 132-131 over the Raptors. And then when we get to who's in and who is out, it's the Lakers with all the issues. Everybody looks ready to go for Phoenix. The Brow, LeBron, Reddish, Rui, all game time decisions. Take it away, Darryl. Your Lakers in effect.
Yeah, man. So Simulation Site has this game total 219, home by 2.03. So I did see a -2, but that was on covers. So this line's moving all over the place. One thing about the Lakers is they have beaten Phoenix the 3 times that they've played them already, right? They've beaten them. Now, I think one of those times there was only the big one, and then 2 of those.
Wow, that was abrupt. That was an abrupt ending. And doesn't have to be the ending. Maybe he bounces back here, but that happened very quickly. This is pretty fascinating. You know, Billy Briz saying he's passing on the game to the Suns on paper are 10 times better, and yet the books are telling us that they're opening up their arms to Suns money. Carry on from where you left off, my man.
Yeah, sorry about that. So what it looks like to me, honestly, is you finally have the big 3 in there, right? So you have it now. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. The third game that they played, was Beal in that game? I would have to look if anyone knows, but I want to say this is the first time, or maybe this is the second time that they played with the big 3. But
no, sorry. God, what the hell's wrong with me? No, Beal was not in that game.
Okay, so this is going to be the first time that they've played with the big 3, right? For whatever that, you know, play how you must there. But I honestly feel that the Suns can get this game because of that new angle with the big 3, right? But the Lakers own the Suns this year, at least. And another thing is, this is a primetime game going to be on TNT. I'm attacking it another angle here. And I just got to see what's been kind of tried and proven, especially in these last 3 games. And that is Durant hasn't scored less than 31 points. So can he have points taken away from him because Bill is in? Yeah, possibly. Yeah, but the Lakers don't really defend the 3 that well. So I'm just going to go to the well with Kevin Durant. I've got Kevin Durant over 27.5 points. I think he can get there. I really do. He's going to show out. You know, LeBron's going to show out also. But yeah, I honestly believe that this is a Durant spot as well. He's going to have to take control. He knows how to. He's going to get to his spots and shoot. I really like it. So Kevin Durant over 27.5 points. That's what I've already stepped on. I got that at minus 120.
But you didn't tweet this one out, right?
No, I didn't tweet that one out.
Let me see if I can beat it here. So you have to say that the market, everybody on the Suns, and the line not moving towards them, it's got to be pretty telling.
That's telling me this is a Lakers side. That's what that's telling me. But like I said, I'm going to look at the line movement, and it's been all over the place. Well, that's just on covers. But yeah, this was yesterday. It was a +2 for Phoenix. That was yesterday. That was at 9 at night. And then you get up this morning, it's +1, and now it's pick 'em. So money has come in on Phoenix, right? But we're seeing it kind of at a stalemate right now. It's back to a pick 'em, and Lakers were -1 as of 10 this morning, Eastern time. So that's 7. So I don't know. I believe that this is a Lakers spot, but I'm just conflicted because I don't know how they're going to play against them with the big 3. Now, the Lakers seem to have gotten the formula right. We've got Austin Reeves that's been starting now. He's pretty much maintained his role. He should be starting. He should have never not been starting, right? And you've got your role players playing good ball. Now, you can talk how you want to. You know your head coach is definitely getting a fucking fine for the shit he ran off on, talking about the lopsided fouls that were called. This has happened with the Lakers before. I was talking to my buddy about it, and I couldn't remember the game, and then I heard it on a pod. It was the Kings game against the Lakers in the 4th quarter, where there was just a lopsided amount of free throws. So Darko stated his case, but at the same time, if you were listening to the commentary, the Lakers were just driving to the basket, bro. They were driving to the basket. 80 went off for 41 points that game. Couldn't be stopped, right? So I think that, the lopsided foul calls and the free throws is a bunch of bullshit. They just couldn't stop them. So do you have that kind of same game plan against Phoenix? I just think it's going to be more high tempo. Wouldn't be surprised if this game actually goes over 238 because I know KD's going to go off. I know LeBron is going to go off. He's going to give you over 20. So yeah, to me, I just think I'll go with probably the more consistent line, and that's been Kevin Durant scoring over 30 points in the game.
You can get the over 26.5 at -125. Would you rather have that?
Do it.
Okay. Over 26.5 for KD. I watched the game. Dan said I didn't watch the game. Is he talking about the Toronto game? Because I watched he's talking about the Toronto game. There was a couple spots late that were extremely questionable. Very, very, very frustrating.
Well, I know you're not talking about the Scotty Barnes foul. Yeah, I just, I don't know. It's going to be hard talking to you. I mean, you are a Raptors fan, but let's agree to this. Darko is getting his ass fined for all that shit he went off about.
It's good. We're tired of, sitting back and, if there's something that you don't think is fair, and speak up. Don't just the microphone's live for a fucking reason, So the 4th quarter was insane. The 4th quarter was fucking insane.
Don't hate, bro. Don't hate.
But I'm not going to get too tied up in this conversation because then I won't bet the Lakers. And I feel like the market is opening up their arms to Suns money. I don't know if I bet this right now, though. I think I might sit with this for a little longer. So I don't.
But I think that if you bet it later, I think you won't get the pick 'em. It's gonna favor the Lakers.
That would be a great sign. I'd have no problem with that.
You're picking the Suns.
No, I think it'd be a really nice sign if the market moved towards the Lakers. If we're talking, the Lakers are +1 right now at 365. What's the most they could get to? -1.5. Right. I mean, I have no problem with that. I would like that sign. I have no problem.
Yeah.
So
take money line. This is another thing that works out. Man, I might just add this on money line against the Lakers. Fade the Lakers first quarter. That has been a tried and proven formula.
I can't wait to watch this game. 10 p.m. tonight, man. This will be a nice way to close out the evening. Let's review Darryl's action. KD over 26.5 points at -125. Knicks -3.5 at -110. He tweeted that out already. I'm going to be moving on the Blazers in some form or another. I've got to figure out exactly how that's going to happen. Lucky Power in the house. What up, Lucky Power? And then Porzingis over 20.5 points at -110. Mitchell over 27.5 points at -121, and Sam Merrill over 2.5 threes at +102. Excellent work this year. Your drive for 60% is alive and well, Darryl. You are You're right now at 57.6%. 19 and 14 plus 3.7 units with an ROI plus 11.21%. So go get it. Dan Kelly just got on Mitchell live at over 30.5. So obviously it's been a good start for Spider.
Holy fuck.
So let's get that. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
when
that's
fans
a
watching
sign.
a game moves live on something that you're on. It's good sign. Darryl, much love, man. Please follow our guy Darryl on X at It's Darryl. Darryl, any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Man, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. It has been a crazy year. But it's always really, really good to come and sit and talk ball with you guys. I'm repeating again, I will be at Pubbalooza. And Jimmy, it's been dry January for me, bruh. So no drinks at all. So I might carry this on until the end of February. It's my birthday. But then March, man, I cannot wait to sit down, bro, and just have a glass of whiskey with you and just talk to you face to face. Everybody, man. Can't wait for that. So, I will see you in March. Peace and love, man.
Respect. There he is. Darryl Rice rolling with us. All right, let's review all action here. All action. So we have a ton of action in NHL. The only spot that was added by Mr. Gogster was the Kings' first period, which I'm going to be adding here myself. Unfortunately, they've cost me a lot of money. I hate having to go back to the well. So he's added the Kings' first period. The other action for Mr. Gogster, Carolina in regulation and the under 8.5, same game. Parlay, -130. Sharks first period, money line +128. Kraken money line -120. Ottawa money line +112. Rangers St. Louis no goal first 9.5. Arizona money line the over 4.5. Boston money line team total over 2.5. The two spots where Gogster and I are heads up is he is on the Ottawa Senators. I'm on the Sabres -1. And I said this to him last week. Now it's possible that after losing 4 straight on the road, Senators are going to go all out to get this one. But I think there's a real issue with this roster and what's happening to them on the road. It's hard to win on the road. Maybe you don't have the truculence to deliver in the opposition's barn. Then he's on Boston and I'm on Vegas. So those are the two spots we're opposite. And I watched how bad Vegas played every second of the game last night. It was a really fun game to watch, last two Stanley Cup champions. So for me, I had 3 bets last night. So those were the really confident spots where I thought I was going to beat the lines. That's Kraken -1 at +151. Oilers -1 at -113. Now, we know that Pickard will be between the pipes for the Oilers, which is not great, but I mean, it's like, I don't know, pick your poison. And Sabres -1 at +123. The Kraken -1 at +151 instead of taking the -120s. I want to be richly rewarded for fading the Capitals. I don't want just mediocre wins. I want to get paid for fading the Capitals. So that was that idea. My two favorite bets on the board are the ones I made this morning: the Vegas Knights at +118 and the Islanders at +115. Those are my favorite bets from an X's and O's standpoint. Nothing to do with the market. Then my additions here are Sharks first period, which I don't even know if I end up getting there. I wish the Habs weren't so bad last night. Now they were 2-0 in the first period and they lose in a shootout. They get a shot 39-19. But do I really want the worst team in the league? Then the under 6 in LA, Florida is a dicey proposition, but I do like it. I think the Kings are going to play so tight, and Kings first period. The only problem with that spot is if the Kings start rolling. And then I'm adding the under 5.5 in Chicago, Winnipeg. And it's like old times with another 5.5. And I like that very, very much. Then Taint play of the day, St. Thomas -1.5. Stacks play of the day, Greensboro +4. That one, dude, very, very, very confident on Michigan State, which goes up against our squad. Then Joseph Thompson, Texas State, Arkansas State over 144.5. That's the best bet. And the best bet number 2 from the model is Michigan, Maryland over 139.5, which was given out on the show. Daby Cab on FAU first half -3.5. Dave Rogers on Stony Brook, Towson over 128.5. I expect to be on Stony Brook. I'm gonna have to look into it a little more. We have 35 minutes before our Cappers contest show. Utah Valley +3 for Dave Rogers. I think I'm going to go up against them with UT Arlington. I understand why the numbers would tell you that UT Arlington's bad, but here's a team that hasn't played against a Div 1 opponent at home since November 29th. And if you look at these road games they played against tough opponents, of course their numbers are not going to be very good. Then Dave's on Illinois -3. Mikey Money's on Tulane +8. William and Mary moneyline. The over 140.5 Michigan, Maryland. I would like to take the team total over and the Illini -3 as well. Raven in the Desert back in business with us. Give us Georgia State -5. Then best bets from BJ. 5-unit moves for BJ. Bucks moneyline, Knicks moneyline. And we just went over NBA. That is our action. Alec Dirk giving us his best bet in UFC. Bruno Ferreira -130. We received Clint's best bets yesterday, which was great. So we're going to go over all of that for tomorrow's show. Plays of the day from our Ron Crawford. Well, the Leafs, first off, which is nerve-wracking as I'm on the Islanders. Then he's on the New York Knicks. And then Florida International, FIU. There you go. Thank you guys so much for everything. And I mean everything. Not just the insights and the support. I mean, the support's most important, but this everything that you shared with us. Like Matty Ice being here since 4 a.m., being at the hospital since 5:30 a.m., and he immediately with us, with his mom going through such important surgery. I mean, it's special what's happening here. And then, the Cappers in the chat talking about opening up about, the toughest parts of their life, dealing with cancer and dealing with family members dying. And it's special. It's special. So I don't think this is a spot where we do a big leche or anything like that. I do think it's a spot where I'll just close the show by saying thank you. This show gives me so much meaning, and I'm just very, very, very thankful. So let's get that cash, and we have the Cappers contest show in 32 minutes, and that's all. I'm just really thankful to be a part of this community, part of this group, and we're a couple months away from all hanging out with each other as well. It's special. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Feel free to join us in 35 minutes when we toast the victors of our Cappers contest. And one more congratulations to Sharpie and Guillermo Zertucci. And final thought here on the show is love and energy and positivity and strength to Matty Ice's mom. Wonderful, wonderful news that she got through the surgery in a positive way and got the cancer out. And sending love to your mom. Sending enormous amount of love to your mom, Matty Ice. And we'll see you guys either in 30 minutes with the Cappers contest or tomorrow. Thank you.